All right, everyone, place your bets right here. Matchup of the century, everyone. The Titan of all Titans, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, versus the giant ape himself, King Kong. Who will reign supreme? Who will bow to the other? And who will win absolutely nothing? It's episode 235 of the Fake Nerd Podcast. We are reviewing Godzilla versus Kong. I am Ben Magnet. That's Brandon McClure.
Where's my wallet?
And Ryan Eliopoulos. So who you all got? Because I got absolutely no money on Godzilla, but that's who I want to win.
I got seen the movie. It'd be unfair.
Yeah. I could feel Ben searching for Eighth Wonder of the World. I could feel him trying to find that in the selling for Kong. And I'm like, I can't tell him.
Nope, I totally forgot. Yep, not Godzilla, King Kong. Kong was the Eighth Wonder of the world.
Okay,
I had a different intro plan, but I wanted to put some actual time and effort into that one, but I never had found the time to do it. And I'm can't do it. I gotta do something else.
That's gonna be our Earth 2 intro. That's what they did on Earth 2.
Oh, really?
There you go.
Did you, when you were kids, did you think that they were calling him the Ape Wonder of the World?
No,
I did.
No.
You know what?
Like the first time I saw it, I thought they said Ape Wonder of the World, and I'm like, makes sense.
Sure,
it does make sense.
I won't say I didn't think that because I don't remember because I saw the movie pretty young, but I don't think so. But again, I can't be sure.
Words are close.
Yeah,
it was definitely before I understood the concept. Like, had I even heard of it anywhere that I could recall of the 7 Wonders of the World prior. And so to me, it was just like, oh yeah, Ape Wonder of the World. That makes sense. And then like later on, I was like, Ape Wonder.
I don't think I was ever taught what the 7 Wonders of the World are. Or it's the pyramids. Is that one of them?
Yes.
I know they exist.
The Eiffel Tower? Is that one?
No.
The greatest big ball in America?
You have the Colossus of Rhodes. Like the only wonder of the world that isn't destroyed is the pyramids.
Oh.
Every other like of the 7 wonders of the world, they're all gone. They're all
the Great Wall of China? Is that one?
Not one of them.
That's so wonderful though.
So like their extended titles that they're supposed to be the 7 Wonders of the Ancient World.
Oh, why are you leaving the words out? It's bad marketing, guys. That's why no one learns about it.
You know what? That explains Kong because he's from the ancient world.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, I know one of them was like the Colossus of Rhodes, the Gardens of Babylon.
They've actually been redecided apparently, but like originally what they were was the pyramids, the Colossus of Rhodes, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, Statue of Zeus at Olympia, and the Temple of Artemis.
Okay. And now it's like, I don't know.
The pyramids, and that's it.
What's real big? The Louvre.
The new 7 Wonders of the World
are... This is like education.
Still the pyramids.
Okay.
The Great Wall of China.
Bam.
Petra, which is in Jordan.
Okay.
The Colosseum in Rome.
Okay.
Chichen Itza in Mexico.
Sure.
Oh yeah, my parents actually went to. That's the pyramids in Mexico.
Yes.
Nice.
Machu Picchu in Peru. The Taj Mahal. And the Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil.
Nice.
Those are the modern 7 Wonders of the world.
Those are the ones that I heard about or looked up myself like years ago. Those ancient ones were like ancient.
There you go, everyone. Nice little bit of education.
That's it for the Fake Nerd Podcast. Thanks for stopping by.
Before we get started, I have links.
I have
a lot of links. Ben, I put in your last week article in here again because I didn't put it in the live, and so it's not mentioned. So it's down there if you hadn't already read it. And Ryan, you did not do Downright Annoyed this week.
Heck no, we didn't. Easter Sunday, baby.
Oh. But you did a live reaction to the Snyder Cut this week.
Oh, I did. Wow. So we did that.
Wowie
wow. We did that actually a couple weeks ago, and now, I forgot that was Michael was
released.
Michael's editing that. Yeah. That's cool. Check that out. If you've seen the movie, don't watch it if you don't want the movie spoiled. It's funny because some of the best parts of the movie have to get cut because of music reasons. And I'm like, I can't wait to rewatch that scene to see it react to it. And then like, it's definitely not the movie because it's like a license thing or there's like specific music use. And I'm like, oh man, YouTube's funny that way. Still a really great reaction video. Check it out. 4 hours is a long movie, you guys.
The reaction video, I didn't watch it, but it is about an hour. It's like an hour and 30, I think. That's what he edited it down to.
Something like that. Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So that's linked below. Check that out if you want. If you've seen the Snyder Cut, of course. I mean, or not. You know, it's your life, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of show stuff in the description below. There is a Basement Arcade pause menu.
Yep.
Ben, do you want to cue that?
Yeah, so the newest episode of Basement Arcade Pause Menu with Patrick Brickhouse is up on our YouTube channel and our audio feeds. It's him and myself talking for about hour and a half, like hour 45 minutes, about the video game anniversaries that are coming out this year. It's really cool. You should totally listen to that. It's really fun. Really can't wait to have him back on the show again. It was a really fun conversation.
Love it. Uh-oh, Brandon is frozen.
Brandon's frozen. He's frozen.
So that was
other links in the description.
As far as I know, that's the one that we did. And Brandon is back. Welcome back, Brandon. It's okay. You're back now.
That was.
I pay $100 for this.
Someone's making a call later.
Oh my god. All right. Anyway, thank you
okay.
Ben, for queuing that off.
Yeah.
And there's also our Fake Nerds Watch. For Falcon Winter Soldier episode 2. Episode 3 was just recorded today, so that'll go up this week. But episode 2 is linked below if you haven't already seen it. Then there's I think that's all the video stuff we have down there, but I feel like I'm forgetting something. There is a Fake Nerd book club for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers volumes 2 and 3 up now on the audio feed for you audio listeners, and a conversation, my new show with Pat Ora from the Historia Canadiana podcast.
Ooh.
We had a fun conversation about fandom and Canadian pop culture, which is not all that different from America, but it was fun to chat with him about it. So check those out. All of those are linked below.
Love it.
And then the last thing I want to bring up is, as promised, our Patreon T-shirt has changed. It is a new quarter, April 1st. New shirt went up, even though I posted it on Saturday. But April 1st, a new shirt went up. It is Stephen King is my best friend.
So good.
Designed by our good friend, Mike Matola. Now you too, like Ben, can be Stephen King's best friend. $10. $10 a month, and you get that shirt.
Look at that.
On Patreon. So there you go. Check out the Patreon. Links below. Get that shirt. It's a good one, guys. I'm really happy with how that one turned out.
It's a banger for sure. He draws a good caricature of Stephen King.
For everyone who wants to check it out, it is on our Instagram page. So very cool. And that's all I got as far as description stuff.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Whoop.
What's up, Mag?
Mag knows what's up. Death Stare
Stephen King. Love it.
So that's who wants to go first of the week?
Who's going first? It's gonna be me, because I'm bold and I'm not, and I'm a hero. I'm definitely a hero. That's a Godzilla versus Kong reference. If you get that, you got that. You get that because I'm not a coward. That's the joke, you guys.
Oh,
thank you. We all just watched that movie for sure. Okay, something that I'm gonna very briefly talk about, but we can talk about it together. Is I watched another episode of Superman and Lois. That show continues to rock my world. I love it. It's the best at what the CW tries to do. It's like, I think it is because it is going to be drama and you know, like teens and stuff, but in terms of good writing and like actual relating to the characters, it's really, really good. It's like really strong, and it makes me care about the side characters, like the side characters, like the best friend of the kids of Superman.
Yeah. So I did criticize it in this episode for like they introduced the fact that one of Superman's kids has disorder, social anxiety disorder, and things like that, and it was present in the first episode but hasn't really come up since. Not that it needs to come up in every episode, but it's like I feel like this would factor in with all the changes that are happening at this current moment.
Yeah,
and that hasn't really been shown in that kid. However, he did really connect with similar stuff going on with Lana's daughter, and Lana's daughter definitely had representation of that shit in this episode. Just decided, I'm gonna lay out like real life stuff right here in the diner, Mom. How's that sound? And it was like something like as someone who's had some like familia drama in his life, like some of that diner stuff is so real
And this like it's like I can't believe like this isn't a Superman show. Again, like I'm getting my great Superman action, and I'm also getting this like really good drama that the CW doesn't always deliver. Like in my case,
she basically calls out her mom for pretending to be fake and always acting like she's in a happy marriage and that their family is happy at home, and calling out every single instance related to the dad, her sister, herself, her mom. And I'm like, oh my God.
And again, like these are all like 14, 15-year-olds. So like they're feeling these emotions. And so like I just think that stuff's really good. And like that's usually the stuff that drives me away from these type of shows. But it's being done really well. So I think it's great. I started playing.
Oh, real quick. They also did a really sweet thing in that episode where Clark, you learn that Clark is always kind of listening in on his kids. And so like one of them's getting like bullied at school, and you see him at the farm, and he's just like trying to keep going with the chore, but he's listening. And like trying to keep himself from getting involved, but he's listening. And it's like, you gotta not be the super dad sometimes.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil like the rest of that scene, but it's that's so good. Like, and it's Superman not knowing how to be a dad.
The way it like ramps up in its intensity. So the way that it's slowly built is just like you think they're two separate things at first, because you're just like you're seeing the kids at school. And it looks like something's happening, but then it cuts to Clark, and Clark's on the farm, and he's doing a thing. And you're like, oh, this is a nice scene. And then it cuts back to the school, and then it cuts back to Clark, and then you start to go, oh, he's listening. Oh.
he's spying on his kids. Yeah. It's definitely a learning episode, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that kind of stuff you don't usually see in superhero stuff, and I think it's really great. I started to play the 2016 reboot/remake of Ratchet and Clank. I don't know what really that thing is, because it's like a remake of that
video
first
game based off the movie.
Video game based off a movie, which they reference in the game, which immediately made me love it. It is that it makes me really scared about that movie, because there's no way it's as good as this game. It is so sharp, and it is Captain Cork, and like he's telling the story of Ratchet, like in playing Ratchet 1, and it's him narrating everything you do. And it's just really sharp writing, and the Ratchet gameplay is still so fun, and it's just updated. Brandon, I don't know if you've played the Ratchet games more recent than I. Like, is this a straight remake of the first one? Because my memory of it's not. Okay.
No, so a lot of the stuff with Captain Cork specifically is different, and that's and like Ratchet. First game, Ratchet is not trying to be a member of whatever Galactic Force Quark is.
The Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, that's his motivation is completely different. His motivation in the first game is just to save Clank.
Gotcha.
And then this game reimagines that as Ratchet kind of has more agency of his own, wanting to be a Galactic Ranger.
I love it. I love all that stuff, and it feels so much more cinematic, and like it's not like Pixar level quality, but like the animation is really, really good, and like the transition from like the cutscenes to the gameplay is seamless, and it's so good, and it just makes me so excited for that next game, that PS5 game, because like the stuff like you could see some of the stuff that like that goes from this game in the deck, and I'm like they're just gonna make it so much better, and like I'm so excited, and I'm glad to continue playing it. I think it's great.
The game is really fun. The movie isn't as good, but it does connect story elements better than the game does, because the game tends to like jump from a beat to beat to beat without any real connective tissue, where the movie fixes that.
Yeah, and you can also there's a lot of like optional stuff, so you can stop the quest and just go like, oh, go up, check out this sewer or something. Yeah. I played some Fortnite with this guy. We'll talk about that some later. I barely got caught up on some comics. I decided to pick one road, and I read X-Men 17 through 19, because that's the stuff where with the Children of the Vault and X-23 and Sync and Darwin, and they've been missing for literally like a year and a half. Brandon, you're caught up, correct?
Yeah, I just read that issue.
Cool. Exceptional stuff.
Yeah.
Truly, like the newest issue is like what maybe the best of this. It's not Hoxpox level, but like it is maybe the best issue of like the 19 issues. Like it is what Hickman is so good at. It's vast, massed, epic storytelling with small emotional stuff at the same time. Like it's truly a feat that he can do this within like 22 pages. Truly exceptional stuff. I love it. Okay. The last thing I did was I started to play Doom Eternal. Because I was a big fan of Doom. I think Doom is one of the best shooters ever made. Like the best remake of all time. Doom Eternal, I can already tell I wasn't going to be a big fan of it. A lot more platforming. It is, and this is not a negative of the game. It's the mood that I'm currently in. Doom Eternal is insanely hard. Even on regular levels, that game is truly hard. And I'm just not in the mood where I want to play something where I have to be so focused or I'll die every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It is insanely hard. I had to bump it down. I tried it on the harder difficulty and I was like, I just can't do this. And I bumped it down lower and I'm like, I know I'm good at games, but man, it asks a lot of you. Like there are like literally like 12 abilities that you eventually get that you have to all work out at once. And it's like almost like a puzzle game while also being a shooter. And while that's great, that is not what I'm looking for right now. So I am super into the lore of Doom Eternal. So I'm like, I know I'm not going to beat this game. So I stopped playing it and I just watched all the cutscenes on YouTube. And that's something that I never do. But it's on Game Pass, so I don't feel like I'm stealing from the game. I own the game technically because of Game Pass right now, right? The lore of that game's insane. I hope they make another one because that stuff that with angels and demons and the stuff they do with God, it's so metal in the coolest ways. Angels are just as ugly as demons. They just have better, cooler looking armor. Humans, their souls are energy for the gods, and that's why we die and get sent to hell so they can harvest our energy. And we're just a ploy for the gods. We are energy for the gods, and that is the lore of Doom. And that is so evil, and I love it. So it is us fighting against God himself, basically. It is cool. That franchise goes in wild places. God, I hope to make a third one. That DLC is super, super crazy. And I think that's my week.
How did they get that movie so wrong?
Oh man, oh boy. Yeah.
You also went back to Fall Guys for the first time in forever.
Yes, I did. In like 6 to 8 months. Yeah, I played almost all new levels. I played that game a lot when it first came out with you guys, and I just got kind of tired of it, you know, as you do with games with not a lot of content. But now that there's a lot of stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely like taking the Fortnite model, almost like a battle pass thing. So many costumes, so many new modes. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, probably gonna play some more with you guys. Hell yeah.
Funny you mentioned Doom Eternal, Ryan, because I love Doom 2016. I really like Doom Eternal, even though people say Doom Eternal is like the quote unquote better game. But I still haven't beaten the game yet. I've had the game for over a year. I haven't beaten it yet because there's this one platforming part that you have to shoot while you're midair, shoot a target, it opens the door, and you have like 2 seconds to go from point A to point B to get it through. You have to time it and do it just perfect and just right. And I hate it. Because there are times, like when you were saying earlier, there are times where it's like a puzzle game. You have like, there are so many like special challenges because I'm trying to do all the collectibles and collect everything, find all the metal albums, find all the toys. And there are parts where it's like, why can I not beat this goddamn thing? I played on normal difficulty too. And there are times I've rage quitted.
Yeah.
I just stopped the game and watched Netflix or played something else because I was just like, I need to take a break. This is getting me really mad.
Yeah,
and it's demanding. It's not the same type of game as Dark Souls, but it is a demanding game like Dark Souls. I mean, where like you have to be in it to win it, or else you're gonna lose.
You're not passive.
Whereas Dark Souls, it's weird because Dark Souls and Bloodborne, I feel like those games when you do beat it, it's like, yes, I accomplished something. Whereas in Doom, it's like, finally, I get past this goddamn part.
Well, that's because it's just more of a more traditional shooter where there's not a boss every few levels. Or sure. There is bosses, but it's not nearly the same as like there's like 30 bosses in a Dark Souls.
Bosses aren't necessarily the thing kicking your ass.
Yeah. The platforming specifically is what really just turned me off because like you have to do all these insane shooting combos, and then you also have to do double jumps and then dashes in the air. So you'll have to double jump, dash to grab a thing, to then double jump, dash to somewhere else, also shooting people. And I'm just like, I'm not a teenager anymore. My reflexes aren't what they used to be. It's really hard. So I just watch the cutscenes. It's really cool.
Although, speaking of Doom, I do have to say that this weekend was the first time I ever bought something off a limited run.
Oh?
They have a limited run is re-releasing the original 3 Doom games for Switch and PS4 all on one disc/cart, and I got the special edition.
Nice.
Man, that's adorable.
Yeah.
You're a physical guy?
Now I can finally play Doom 3 because I never played Doom 3 before.
No, I'm really glad that you have that. It's just funny to me that Limited Run had to do it because on Xbox that already existed. Yeah. They just did that as a wide release thing for Xbox.
It just took until now.
Ben, do you want to go next since you're already?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
So besides me finally dropping some money on Limited Run games, even though I really am kicking myself that I didn't get the Panzer Paladin one, but that's a different story. Movie-wise, I watched the very first Godzilla movie, like 1954 Godzilla. I finally watched it.
I thought the first Godzilla movie was in 1998.
Nope. I see the bait. Not taking it.
Bye. Brandon's gone.
There goes Brandon.
That's a lot of fish.
Oh Lord. So that I watched it in the original Japanese. I didn't watch the American version, and it is a really good movie.
Yeah,
it is. Because I was talking to one of my buddies at work about it, and it at its core, it really is a horror movie. It really is a warning of how bad things can get. Like I can see the metaphor, and I really, really like it. I mean, it's made in 1954, so there are some shots where Godzilla just looks like a derp. It's kind of funny, but it's in 1954. It's the very first one. Of course, these effects you can see like the obvious stop motion effects, or you can probably see the wires on the cars when there's a scene where the car is rolling. But one of the most profound
stop motion in that movie.
There is.
There's no stop motion in that movie.
I could swore there was.
There's puppetry. There's hand puppetry.
Right. I will say just on that note, like I think having watched it recently, like I think Godzilla's design in that movie and his presence, the way they do the film, is scarier.
Oh yeah,
than like half of what comes after in the Showa when he's attacking cities.
Mm-hmm.
Just in presentation, like even though his costume's more simple in a way, it's kind of more effective.
Oh yeah. Oh no. When like Godzilla, when you first see Godzilla and you hear his roar, I was like, oh, this is scary. This is actually terrifying. And one of the scenes I was going to talk about, it's a profound and I think an amazing scene, is when all the radio and TV crews are on the tower and the announcer is saying like, this is it. I'm farewell to everyone. We're going to die because he's right in front of us. And Godzilla just tears this thing down. Just like tears the tower down. You see people falling off the tower. It's like, oh shit. And even when the scene is over and Godzilla goes back into the ocean and you see like a devastated Tokyo, it's like, Jesus, I felt like it was stock footage from August 7th, 1945.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy that it came out in like 54 because like they just got nuked like less than a decade ago. That is insane that like the turnaround. I didn't even think about the turnaround of that. That is so crazy. Like putting your trauma that closely into.
So roughly.
Oh my God.
Roughly 3 years before that is a ship. I forget the name of it, but it's the inspiration for Godzilla's first appearance across from a Navy ship of Japan's, which is that the Americans were still doing nuclear testing in an area where the Japanese Navy was, and a whole ship of them were affected by radiation poisoning from them doing testings 3 years before the film was made.
Man.
And they were directly referencing that.
Jeez.
A similar scene is in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mag says, the scream from the cop car and family huddled together got me. Yeah, it's an excellent movie. Excellent movie.
Yeah, it truly is a fantastic movie. And it's because when I was growing up, I watched Godzilla movies, especially in the Showa era films. A lot of the Showa era films I watched were somewhat kid friendly and goofy. There's like, you got like King Kong versus Godzilla, where he's like, yes, Godzilla's the bad guy and he's trying to destroy stuff. But you also got stuff like I want to say Godzilla versus Gigan, or the one with Jet Jaguar where what was it?
It's Megalon. Godzilla versus Megalon.
Yeah, Godzilla versus Megalon, where Godzilla's like salute, or Jet Jaguar. They're like, yeah, we're gonna beat this guy together, and they're saluting each other. It's just so like, this is the king of the monsters.
I mean, yeah, there's Invasion of the Astro Monsters that he does the dance. There's his Megalon alone has him sliding on his tail. There's the one where he breathes atomic radiation to fly.
Mm-hmm.
The Showa era got goofy, sure, but it still ended on Terror of Mechagodzilla, which is one of the best Godzilla movies.
Yeah, and then of course with the Heisei era films, it's more like Godzilla's like the bad guy because he's destroying Tokyo, but he's also destroying these monsters. So, but the original Godzilla, definitely worth a watch. Really good. Had a great time with that. Besides that, I'm
really glad you watched it.
Me too. I was really glad I finally sat down. I was like, no, I want to watch the original Godzilla. I never have, and now I have. And then I watched 2014 Godzilla, which I still really enjoy. I still think it's really good. The stuff with the monsters, the stuff with Godzilla and the Mutos is really good, but I really don't like Aaron Taylor Johnson. And every time when Bryan Cranston died in that movie, I'm just sitting there going, boo.
So up from the depths. So real quickly, Up From the Depths, which is a YouTube channel that we follow, put up a video where the guy on this speculates what would happen if Bryan Cranston did not die in the film. Not changing Aaron Taylor Johnson's role, but wondering how Bryan Cranston would have altered the film. It's very good. It's really insightful and an interesting watch. I recommend it. It's Up From the Depths' most recent video.
Yeah. So watch 2014. I was gonna try and get through the rest of the MonsterVerse films this week, but I didn't have a chance to, unfortunately. Besides that, didn't get a whole lot of video game playing done. Played a little bit of Mario, but not much. Yeah, pretty much my week was not a whole lot of stuff. I watched Godzilla and got some other stuff taken care of. So yeah, that's my week.
Love it.
Sparks?
Oh no, please, I insist.
You always do this to me.
You like going last, and I like poking at that bear. I'll go though if you want. I'll go.
I would like you to go. Thank you.
I did a lot, but yet not as much as I wish I had. Considering spring break, I wound up having to dedicate a lot of time to chores around the house, those kind of things that you put off until you have time. And I had time, and I still didn't have enough time, and then still school stuff had to be worked in a little bit. So I ended up not, my intention was to be completely caught up on all my pull comics. That didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't even kind of happen. That didn't even happen a little. That didn't even happen a single issue. So that's how much that did not happen this week. But I still did manage to do some things. I'm nearly done with Gilmore Girls. I'm in the final 4 of the show.
Pokemon, the final 4.
There's a light at the end of my tunnel, thank goodness. And that is a relief. Not to disparage the show, just the last season's really drag, and it's finally starting to pick up its feet because it knows it's approaching the end. It's like we gotta make this work, and I'm like, yeah, you do. Fortnite, a lot of it, played a lot of it. It's good. It's there. It's
I got Poison Ivy.
They added Raptors.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing. I shot one in the head today.
You can tame them. You can fight them. You can hear them, and they're crazy because you hear them and you don't know where they are.
They have the exact same sound effects from Jurassic Park, like the or whatever.
Yeah.
How it goes.
I don't think either of those noises are right.
Yeah. It's good. It's good stuff. Dr. Stone. That's still great, guys. I really recommend watching that show. Dr. Stone is awesome. I played some Among Us. Among Us is really cool. Had fun with that. We had a particularly crazy night where Pi, friend of the podcast, Pi, was playing with us. And legit, I'm not off. 3/4 of the time he was one of the killers.
Oh, that's a lot.
And so it reached a point where that had happened so many times where I'm like, all right, y'all, you just got to assume Pi. And I got pushback on it because I would always just immediately no matter what, unless someone had physically seen someone kill the person we were talking about, I'm like, I'm voting Pi, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm just safe bet. And I got pushback at first. And every time it was still him. And then eventually we were all just and so when Pi was the killer, he was just killing fools as quickly as he possibly could because he's they're going to vote me out anyway. So he's just trying to do it as quickly as possible.
Did you do it on the new map that came out?
No, that was not out. I think when we
because I think it was coming out sometime this week, so maybe
it did, but I think it came out after we were doing this. This was earlier in the week. I don't want to talk about that yet. Superman and Lois, we talked about that. You and I also did a thing for Basement Arcade, which I don't think we'll say the name of yet.
I think we might have said it way in the past, but we're not going to say it.
We'll hold off.
Yeah.
But we're doing a Basement Arcade, guys. We're going to keep doing it for a little while, and we'll eventually be putting it up. So look forward to that. We're putting the time in.
When we got enough episodes.
There's finally a new Basement Arcade being built.
Yeah.
Hooray. I did some catching up on the Arrowverse. It's so weird to call it that when he's not there, but I hate the CW verse. The
Flash Galaxy.
The Flash Galaxy. I did some catching up on that, which had me watching the episodes of The Flash that have come out so far for this season. And they're doing some stuff, which is interesting. And it really cemented for me that this idea that not just like it's definitely soap opera superhero shows at this point. Flash and Arrow clearly were that. Not all of them are. Black Lightning isn't that. Supergirl isn't that. Supergirl's getting close to that, but good. Superman and Lois isn't really that yet, and Legends certainly isn't. But it did make me go, I think that the trajectory that we're heading for is network television shows that run those 20-episode seasons. They're going to become more like soap operas. They're going to become like, we're going to start to see them that way because they are becoming such long-form storytelling that's usually having to fill in all that extra crap. And we're getting I'm noticing it because I'm getting used to prestige television, things that are tighter and quicker and get to the good stuff and don't drag me through the motions of drama.
Yeah.
And watching things like Gilmore Girls or thinking about Smallville or thinking about these the Arrowverse shows, I'm starting to see the trend where those long form shows are going to become even more like soap opera to us.
Because you need big emotional beats to keep people tied together. And you need it now every episode.
You start to see where like it's really pulling you through it. And it's just an interesting thing that I'm starting to recognize in, because honestly, like those are the only long season network shows I watch right now, are the Arrowverse shows. And it is weird to watch them trying to like keep a grip on that. And it's not all of them. Like again, Legends is a truncated season and doesn't suffer from that as much. Black Lightning is a truncated season. They've never gone above 16. And that has allowed Black Lightning to keep tighter. So it's really interesting that the ones that have to push that extra mileage in episodes, they're really like pulling a lot out of you in this new age of television where you're used to like not having to do that anymore.
Now you got to cry every episode.
Anyway, just an interesting thing. We watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. We talked about it. You'll be able to watch that.
Birdman and Sad Boy.
I watched the Mortal Kombat film because he's going to be talking about it for Downright Annoyed. Well, I watched it, the original, Brandon. And I'd never seen it before.
Really?
That movie's wild.
Yep.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Yeah. I liked it. It's good in how boldly stupid it is.
Oh yeah. It is a if you know his filmography, it's a Paul W.S. Anderson movie.
Oh my gosh, so much.
You could see from this to Resident Evil to like and any of the movies he's made in between there, like he has like, oh yeah, okay. You're kind of bad, kind of cheesy, but it works. AVP even.
Honestly, like the thing that pulls me, like I can't take it seriously at all is Raiden. I can't take Raiden seriously even a little. Not for a second.
Yeah.
Every time he shows up, I'm like, I can't with you.
What was that?
I taught you everything.
What's the line where
Stupidest, like the dumbest moment in that movie to me is this part where Liu Kang's like, oh my gosh, if she doesn't accept the challenge, then no final Mortal Kombat can be completed. And then Raiden immediately just turns to him and he's like, I have nothing left to teach you, Liu Kang. And I'm like, oh, that fact proves he's learned all he can from great god of thunder and lightning, Raiden?
What's the part
Noted.
What's the part where he's on the step and he goes, I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And then the other funny part about that is like literally a scene later, Liu Kang encounters Kitana and she's like, you still have much to learn, Liu Kang. And I'm like, Raiden doesn't seem to think so.
We just listened to him get like his college graduation speech. Like, what's going on?
It's interesting that you say that because like he's my favorite part of it, Christopher Lambert. I love his Raiden. Don't
misunderstand. I think it's very funny. I also think it's incredibly misguided casting and stupid.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining to watch. It's like if I was deeply invested, I'd be like, "This is terrible casting." Yeah. Like it's a good thing I'm not connected to Raiden.
Did he do Highlander before or after Mortal Kombat?
Before.
Okay, so that's why he's in Mortal Kombat then, because Highlander was huge.
This was a big movie when it came out, man. Yeah,
man. I just every time
is mine.
Shang Tsung is selling it. Like that's the thing is like the other characters are kind of selling it for me. Even with the goofiest shit. Like I'm still like for a 90s film sold. But then that guy shows up as Raiden, and I'm like, I can't do this.
You know who after, because I've seen this movie plenty of times.
Who takes you seriously?
Nobody but the people in the movie.
I know.
Johnny Cage actually really works for me because like I think that actor he actually does a lot of his own stunts, and he looks really good doing them. Like specifically like that one Scorpion fight where he's in like the pirate zone or whatever the hell they're at, the dead pirate zone.
Now, like I know Mortal Kombat is like this because like, you know, Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage are our main big time characters and everything. And I get that, but like it is interesting to, especially for the time period, look at it through the lens of like, wow, they really high profile the white characters for this one.
I mean, it's 1995 and it's Paul W.S. Anderson.
I understand that, like, you really just have to say 1995, not even Paul W.S. Anderson. Like, it is a thing of the time, but this is the thing that you and I talked about. Like, I'm really invested in the choice of like, because it doesn't make sense by the movie's end. Why did Shang Tsung have to be so obsessed with Sonya?
Because he's
That's
gross.
so bizarre.
Because he's just a gross man.
Well, because like it's really what it is. Yeah. It's paying off of like old Flash Gordon shit. You know, it's the Asian nemesis who's lusting after the white woman, which is that old thing.
And he even puts her in like
pulling that back, and he
thing.
chains her up, and he puts her in the shaggy dress and all that. And I'm like, man, this is bad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 2 weeks for that new
and
one,
it's
baby.
so weird because like you just didn't need it because it's never explained why he was so interested in her or anything. Like he takes her there, that lures them there, and like
Kano, I think that is perfect Kano casting, and he has one of my favorite lines. He's like, "And I cut him ear to ear," and I'm like, "Oh my god, he's like the best scumbag in movie history. He's so good," and he gets taken out like immediately.
He is pretty good. I agree with
I think half that casting is really really good.
Yeah,
and then the other half's like, "Oh boy, big Goro."
I like the movie a lot.
I do too. I wonder if it's because I've been watching it my entire life, though.
It's 100% that.
Yeah.
Like don't misunderstand. I enjoyed my time, but I enjoyed it while also recognizing like this is enjoyable because it's very dumb.
Yeah. I am so stoked for that new one, you guys.
Just turning Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile all into similar looking dudes in different colors.
I mean, that's to be fair, that is like the looks of the games.
I understand, but like that the way that it's done is just so like don't connect to these dudes.
You mean you don't like when like the CGI lizard goes into a statue and then it says reptile and he becomes reptile?
No. Don't misunderstand. I do like it because you just had to say that sentence.
Yeah. It's definitely got a lot of problems, but like, it's unfortunately still one of the best video game movies. 25 years later.
Hey, we got Detective Pikachu.
You're right. We need to have like an internet discussion about the best video game movie because I think it's time. Because I think it's still Mortal Kombat, but I think it's maybe it's Pikachu.
We've all seen enough.
Yeah.
Let's make that one of our next topics.
Realistically, I feel like that would belong to Pause Menu, wouldn't it, Ben?
Yeah, that could be a good episode of Pause Menu. Yeah. Let me write that down.
Ben, Brandon's like, how dare you
video games
from me?
Okay, we could put it on the main show. That's fine.
Be a joint show.
You can stop staring at me, Brandon.
Brandon, it doesn't mean
is he frozen?
Come on, Pause Menu. No, he's not frozen.
I know.
I also, with Ryan and Brandon, we played a little bit of Marvel Villainous.
All right, we did.
Yes.
That
was fun.
That was fun. It took a long time to learn, and we started a little later than we should have for it, but so we didn't get to finish it. But I think everybody was getting into the groove of it, and we kind of saw the track of what we were doing, and it was a good time.
Yeah. Ben, you got that for Christmas, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
About 10 o'clock. We were all probably about halfway through finishing like our characters arcs. Yeah. And about 10 o'clock, we're like, we still got to watch this movie.
Yeah, we got to watch the movie. Yeah, that game's pretty cool. It is complicated, but not like what's the word?
Not in a way you can't
figure it out. Yeah. You just got to learn it. It just takes time.
Yeah, and I think like the next time we do it, everyone will pick it up even faster.
Yeah, because we have a base already.
Yeah, real cool. We enjoyed that. The other thing I did is I dedicated a full 4 hours of one of my nights to just doing the Snyder Cut, just watching the whole thing end to end. What a beast!
What you mean, ear to ear,
ear to ear? I have many thoughts. Good and bad. Many good. I'll admit, like many good.
That seems to be the trend on the internet.
Yeah. I think that the movie does a lot of good stuff, especially for like the characters you'd expect it to do, and it does bad stuff with exactly the characters that you'd expect it to do bad stuff with, namely Superman. Like there's really no comparison between like does Superman have a character in the theatrical one versus does he have a character in Snyder's? The answer is absolutely in the theatrical one. Nope, no way at all. In the Snyder cut, he's 100% a plot device in Snyder's. And that's a bummer, but there's a lot of other stuff in the movie that really does work and works better than the theatrical version. It is an interesting analysis to sit them next to each other, really think about what was different, why it was different, how different it is. It is vibrantly different. The only other thing, because we're going to do a discussion on it, I have my notes, so I'm not going to go into it a bunch. The only other thing I'll say is that Steppenwolf and Darkseid and everything around those characters is so 100% better than the theatrical version that it alone is pretty much worth the watch. Everything about those characters and their stuff going on is so massively improved and so much better. It's almost the best thing in the film. It's crazy that the theatrical has such a bad iteration of it. It really is. And I'm not just talking about how he looks. It's everything about his character and everything about his connection to Darkseid. It's insane. It's an insane difference. They are literally two different villains.
I actually forgot to mention, but I watched about an hour of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I only got to watch an hour because I had to take Fanny to her to pick up her car super early in the morning. But what I did see, I really dug a lot of it. I got to a lot of like the Darkseid stuff, and I was like, "Damn, this is actually pretty damn good. I really like this."
I will say that I think the first hour probably has some of the strongest stuff.
Yeah,
from what I recall, like
the first hour and the last hour.
Half of the last hour.
Okay, yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah,
that last 35 minutes is questionable.
Oh, it's a long movie. I don't remember. I gotta watch it again.
The epilogue is questionable.
I don't count that part of the movie.
Okay, that is the last 35 minutes. So it's a 35-minute epilogue.
Oh, then yeah, absolutely. Then if I don't count that, then the last part of the
last hour of the movie is good.
Hell yeah. That epilogue's bad. Yeah.
There's an extended one on YouTube. Did you guys see that?
Oh yeah. The deleted scene.
The slightly extended scene, which is super weird because you kind of see how they did the effect of the world, and it's like, ugh.
I'm okay.
It's just no good. You didn't make it any better.
Turns out we don't live in a society. Sorry.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have a discussion about it in the very near future. So I'll vent a lot of my things there. But I watched it, and I'm not upset I watched it on any level. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm glad that a lot of people who hate the theatrical cut more than I do have this. I still like things about the theatrical cut. I actually like a few things less now that I've seen the alternative possibilities. But there's still things like I'm always going to value a lot of the Superman stuff in that theatrical cut and Danny Elfman's score and some other moments. But Snyder's Justice League does have a lot of great shit going for it. It's no Batman v Superman. It's a very different film. And it feels different. It feels better. It feels more like a good follow-up to Man of Steel than BVS did. That's enough on that. So we'll move on.
Moving on up to the east side.
Anything else?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Thank you. There was one other thing. I played, which only one other person I know played, Knockout City, because it had an open beta this weekend, and I couldn't get any of my friends to play with me, and so I cried. But I played it, and I had a great time.
Good.
I think it's really cool. I think there's a lot of mechanics. I think everybody is going to have to get over a hill with it, because you're going to get your ass stomped for a while. Because it's very difficult to master all the mechanics. You're going to want to do other things, other moves that are your options, and usually kind of maybe your reflexive go-tos when you're playing a game, when you should do something else. For me in particular, I tend to dodge more often than I should try to just catch. So you're going to go through that, I think. But Knockout City looks to be really cool. The dynamic of the gameplay feels really good. The sensation of catching a ball and hitting a target feels like real dodgeball.
It's a dodgeball game.
It feels just
if you don't know.
Yeah, it's a big dodgeball game. it feels just as good as it would in real life. Like you get that like satisfaction of like, I got the catch. Oh yeah. And then you get the throw and you get the hit. It's good stuff, guys. I'm looking forward to its release. I hope everyone keeps an eye out for it because it's a $20 video game.
Now that we know it's good.
And I do think it's going to be worth it. They do a great job with a whole training section. Learning new mechanics is cut up into the different maps so that you also learn how the different maps work while you're learning new gameplay moves.
Nice.
And I think it's paced out very well, and it allows you to learn everything you can do in the game, and then you dive in.
Love it.
Nice. Okay, my turn?
Yes.
All right, I watched the entire 6th season maybe, of Nailed It. This is the cooking show where they make the worst cakes imaginable to try to win. This is a season all filmed during COVID, and they had double the guests because I guess that made sense to them. So it's tag teaming things. So it's groups of 2 instead of just one person baking. Very funny. I really enjoyed it. There's some. This is gonna sound. I don't know how this is gonna sound. There's a person who stacks these cupcakes before freezing them, so they're all just warm cupcakes, and then just start melting into this glob of cupcake that's covered in buttercream. It's crazy. I found that to be really funny. But there's these 2 kids on there who might be twins, might just be siblings. I looked at them and I said, if this was a cop show, they'd be the 2 suspected for banging and killing their parents and running off with the insurance money.
Oh wow!
And so, because they for whatever reason they just had that air about them. Okay. And I started building a narrative of this cop show in my head, and then one of them was like, and I'm gay. I'm like, I'm really glad you said that because I had like up to Act 2 of your TV show.
They give you more material. There you go.
It's a good show. I like Nail It a lot. It's if you want to just laugh your ass off, it's a good place to do it. I finished Netflix's Dota Dragon's Blood.
Nice.
I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes last time I spoke about it, and then I finished it this week.
Do they ever say what Dota stands for?
No.
Okay.
It's very good. It's very good. I like it a whole lot. The animation is really great. It doesn't, we talk about a lot like American animation ever since it adopted anime as a style. A huge increase in dead-eye animation. We see it in a lot of things. We just recently saw it in Invincible. Studio Mir doesn't always suffer from that, and how little they do became a refreshing thing for me watching this. I was like, oh wow, expressive eyes. This is great.
Good.
Studio Mir, of course, they did Legend of Korra, of Voltron. 2 great TV shows. The dragon designs are really cool. They deal with some dragon lore that they don't quite explain, and I don't think it's because they want you to play the game. I think it's just something that's going to be explained later. But I really enjoyed it. It's a fun fantasy show, and if you want just a cool fantasy show with awesome dragon designs and some sweet ass fight scenes with a great voice cast, that's the one for you.
I'm in. All right.
Sounds like my cup of tea.
Honestly, Ben, I think you'd love it.
Oh yeah, it's on my list.
It's like an adult Dragon Prince.
Nice.
I watched Brick. I had a marathon of movies that I had borrowed from Sparks this week.
Brick is very good.
I watched Brick, which is Rian Johnson's first movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. For those of you who don't know, that's a hard cop movie, like a hard detective movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing a detective, except it's set in high school and they're all high schoolers.
Yeah, it's a high school crime noir.
Yeah, and they're talking about like, oh, the VP came in a 3rd period looking for me, and I gotta lay low. I can't get the Bulls invested. And they're talking about all these hard things, and it's a really good movie. It shouldn't work as well as it does.
Yeah, it's very like high schoolers doing very like Godfather-esque, like being treated like criminals, but like they're all like 17 and shit. Yeah,
and it's not played for laughs.
No, not at all.
But it's still got that Rian Johnson wit to it that we've seen in Knives Out, even Last Jedi. Yeah, it's awesome. I really liked it. I'm glad I got to see it finally.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The next 3 I'm going to talk about last. I read Sunstone Volume 4. I'm working my way back through that book series. Volume 4 is the sad one. And to skip step on Cedric's and praise, because, okay, look, this is a smut graphic novel series. I won't deny it, but there are really great character moments, and one of them, the highlight for me in this book, is how real it feels like when you're not getting the right signals from your significant other or someone you want to be your significant other, and that creates a lot of butting heads, and just how that can how snowball effect into just worse and worse and worse until finally just a huge explosion and you both break up. I think that's handled a lot better than a lot of dramas would, because a lot of dramas would over sensationalize it. But the way Stepan Sejic works through it, it feels very honest, and I think that's where he succeeds, is his honest character work.
Sure.
Really like that volume. One more, and then I'm on to volume 6. Red X-Men. It's great. Ryan talked about it. Superman versus the Imperious Imperious Lex. That's Mark Russell's Superman Infinite Frontier, not Infinite Frontier, Future State. Streamline this, guys. 3 issues. It just ended, so it's the last Future State book to end late. Really fun. Lex Luthor is a megalomaniac dictator on a different planet called Lexor. It's all tongue in cheek the way Mark Russell plays it. It's good Superman. It's fun. I caught up on Shazam, Jeff Johns and Jeff Loveness. He did 2 issues in these last 4 that I read.
Nice.
Shazam. And I'm really bummed that book is not continuing. And I don't care if it's Jeff Loveness, and I don't care if Jeff Johns continues it. But if the reason why they're not doing it is because Jeff Johns wants to do Shazam, then get someone else on that book, because Shazam should continue that plot line. That, of course, sure, Jeff Johns set it up, but someone else can play with it too. It is a shame that they're not going to play out that story arc. The idea is that the wizard, who is not dead, says that someday Billy Batson will be able to reform Black Adam, and Black Adam will become the 7th Guardian. And the way they tease that just felt really exciting to me, and I'm bummed that I'm probably never going to see it.
Or just wait for the next Shazam movie where they do a big number 1.
Especially because Bendis has the reins on Black Adam now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but honestly, honestly, that movie comes out a year or 2. That's when they'll probably do something else with them.
Yeah, and I hope it continues that story, because if Jeff Johns doesn't need to be the one to do it.
And yeah, Jeff Loveness rules, and that dude, he did that 2-issue Justice League fill-in, 50 or 51 or whatever. And if he's co-writing that because that's usually what happens when you want someone to take over your book. They come and help co-write to get the flow of it, then they take over. Mm-hmm. And he has a great wholesome tone that would work for that book. So that's a shame that it's just not continuing.
Yeah, he does his 2 issues that he does are really good.
Cool.
And then I read the first volume of the complete collection of Godzilla Rulers of Earth. Obviously, I was really into Godzilla again, and I just finished the self-titled book, which was about people trying to kill the monsters. And then this one was about, hey, maybe we shouldn't kill Godzilla because there's aliens. And then there's also amphibious aliens who've been on the sea floor, and they're about to fight, except there's also monster attacks.
Oh my God, that's so brilliant. The aliens don't have to come from the sky, they can come from below.
Oh, but they came from both.
Whoa, that's great.
It's 2 aliens that are trying to take over the Earth.
It's a pincer move, like from Tenet.
Yeah, a temporal pincer move. Jesus. And that's a fun book. I actually find it more enjoyable than the self-titled Godzilla book. This one, it does play it very tongue-in-cheek. Matt Frank does the art. The cast of characters is a little bit more. What's the word? They don't take themselves as seriously as the last story did, and it's just kind of some Godzilla work of building lore, and also just making sure that at the end of the day we're just having fun. My only complaint is that sometimes Matt Frank can't choreograph action scenes in comic book panels. Some of the monster battles I can't follow at all, especially some of the underwater ones. However, the second issue, which Ben talked about last week, which has the Godzilla versus Zilla fight. That's the whole issue of just Zilla fighting Godzilla. It is awesome. completely delivers on just a really cool and well choreographed fight scene that is easy and clear to watch. It's one of the best scenes. It's one of the best scenes and issues in the whole book.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed that. I got one more volume of that run to do, so 12 more issues. So I'm excited to finish it. See what those aliens are up to. They're shapeshifters.
Ooh, scrolls.
And then I watched the Evangelion 3 films, the rebuild of the Evangelion arc. Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah, rebuild. Yeah.
This is 1.11, 2.22, and 3.33. And the fourth one just came out in Japan, 3.0 plus 1.0.
And it's like 3 hours long or something.
Yeah. The second one, actually, the Japanese title is Shin Evangelion.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's silly boy.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, it's they're really good. The first one, like we talked about, it is just that anime. It's like the first 4 episodes of the anime. Some things happen differently because you got to condense the time in a movie. The second one is brilliant. It's so cool. The changes they make. Ray has a I think
don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
No, I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay.
I would never spoil it.
Well, I'm just making sure.
I think Ray has a much more interesting story arc in the 2 films than she does in the show. Personally, I just think the second film is really great. The third film is really good as well. It's not as good, but hey, the first film is just kind of a slog. If you've seen the anime, you just kind of have to get through it.
It looks really, really nice, though.
It does look really nice.
And there are, and maybe one day we'll do a discussion on it, but there are subtle things that are different that when we talk about change some stuff that just make it, it's not just a retelling of the first thing. It's actually very different. It's posed as a retelling of the first one. Right?
Yeah.
The first
the second 2 films are really good, though, and I just think it's a really cool experiment to take your franchise, the show that you made, and go in a completely different direction, follow different plot threads, do something else. I think that's really cool.
I agree.
Can't wait to watch that 4th one. That's me.
Hell yeah.
That's all I got. Should we get into our bread and butter?
Yes, please.
Yes.
We're back. Bread and butter time. All right. We got a lot of delays that happened this week. Real quickly.
Oh, no. Delays.
Swig of water. Sorry, I got really thirsty all of a sudden. All right. Mortal Kombat has been pushed 1 week to April 23rd instead of April 16th.
That is not significant whatsoever. I'm so happy. When I heard it was delayed, I was going to I swear to God, if this is 3 months or 6 months. It actually
makes it better for you.
It makes it even better.
Because now Ryan can see it in a theater the weekend it comes out because he'll be fully vaccinated.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Very excited.
Oh, I get vaccinated that week. Yeah.
Venom, Let There Be Carnage was pushed from September 17th to September 24th, so not far.
Oh, no. Anyway.
I don't even believe that movie's real right now.
No.
The trailer's right around the corner.
Then I'll believe it's real.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City was pushed from September 3rd. I didn't know it was coming out this year, actually, to November 24th.
Okay.
It's a couple months.
Yeah.
Uncharted was pushed a week from February 11th to February 18th of next year.
Jeez.
Oh, wait. Oh, next
year, yeah. Next February.
We talked about it a bit. Shin Ultraman, Hideki Anno's new Ultraman movie, has been pushed indefinitely due to COVID-19. There's no current date for Japan release. So, man, that sucks. I'm really excited for that.
That movie's done though. I think it's just
practical, CGI effects.
Yeah. I think it's just
post-production has to slow down.
Yeah, considering there's a new announcement that he just did, I don't think it's super far out.
No, I know.
No, yeah. It just when I hear the word indefinite, that sounds like never, and it doesn't mean that. It
does sound scary when you hear it, but it normally just means they haven't found a place for it yet.
Yes.
I think it's also they're not playing to the release windows that we are, so them setting it in Japan, I think they're much more strict about you got to know your date. You don't just play the game. So you just pull out, and when then you put the date down.
Yeah. You don't pull up Black Widow or New Mutants.
Yeah, you don't constantly move it around.
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars has also been delayed from its spring release date. We're thinking winter, but they don't know yet.
The game, for anyone who wasn't clear.
Okay.
That's
Lego. What?
all the movies.
Yes,
Yeah, it's gonna be
all the Skywalker films.
all 9. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
I was about to say,
I'm
like,
excited for that.
wait, there's a Lego Star Wars movie coming out? What?
I'm really excited for that. Did you guys see the Star Wars Vintage on Disney Plus now? Has some Ewok shows and the
Ewok Adventure
Caravan of Courage or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the not Hideki, I don't know.
Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And the Boba Fett Christmas special cartoon stuff
That they took out of the
That's so weird to
entire
me.
Christmas special.
The instead of putting up the holiday special, they put up just that
One-
animation.
Boba Fett.
I guess Boba Fett's hot right now. I guess just put that up.
But apparently, like Droids is coming to that too. I'm glad they found a place to put those old properties.
Star Wars Vintage is such a weird moniker for it.
Yeah, Legends.
It's cool. It's cool.
Uh,
In another world, Robot Chicken Star Wars, I'm sure, would show up in that vein, but this is Disney Plus, so that's not going to happen.
this section is also called Cancellations because the Trench and New Gods movies have been canceled.
That's a big old bummer.
Yeah, the New Gods apparently the Warner Brothers side of the Snyder Cut complicating things with Darkseid, which I don't buy at all.
Boy, was that crappy that they said that.
Literally, what is your whole thing being about a multiverse again? Excuse me.
Right, like all your game of multiverse shit. Like, what are you talking about?
Also, even if it's the same Darkseid, like you just introduced an entire audience to Darkseid, so you give him a movie that explains his origin and stuff. Like, I don't understand how that's a problem.
Especially
Whatever.
since they've been so clear that like the Snyder Cut isn't canon going forward anyway. So like
they can do their own origin and make that character even better moving forward.
I'm really upset that they canceled New Gods.
Okay.
I honestly couldn't care less that the Trench got canceled. I always kind of thought it was a weird choice to make it.
But like Ava DuVernay and Tom King, they are on Twitter all the time talking about how much they love writing it and working together. I'm like, that sucks.
The New Gods didn't feel like one of those that was just let's throw a dart at the board choices that DC's made in recent. It felt like one that was like well calculated, a good decision.
That book was going to be that. I mean that's there. It's Mr. Miracle, the movie.
Yeah,
like it is Scott and Big Barda dealing with like Darkseid and the granny goodness and all that stuff. And I'm like, we deserve that so much. DC deserves that so much. Whatever. Full of bad choices this week.
Ava DuVernay was on Twitter just before the announcement hit, saying, "I think Warner Brothers is going to say something about New Gods soon," and there was that, and that's a bummer.
Yep. Womp womp.
A lot of casting happened this week as well. Anthony Ramos, the up and coming In the Heights actor, has been cast in Transformers 6, the next film by the Creed 2 director.
Oh wow, that movie's actually happening.
I guess so.
Wow, that movie's really happening. Okay.
Another Bayformer.
Well,
I mean, he's not directing it.
Hey man, like I didn't see Creed 2, but on all accounts, that movie is really, really good.
It's good.
So like,
you have a good director on a shitty script.
No, what I mean is like again, like even though it is the next Bayformer, like it's Bumblebee, it's a new person. So like, maybe a fresh take. I
just don't know if I, even with a different team behind it, want to go back to that world.
Yeah.
Like you kind of soured me on anything.
Yeah.
You kind of soured me on anything pretentially set up.
So much lore has happened already. Yeah.
And I
remember the last night, Unicron is coming through the surface of the earth.
They ruined Unicron. They ruined their coolest bad guy who could have been a giant Galactus. Yeah, you're right. Scrap it. Sorry, Creed 2 director.
Just make it a sequel to Bumblebee.
If you were making a different Transformers film, even one that wasn't a direct sequel to Bumblebee, just something that wasn't a sequel to the Bayformers, I'd be like, cool, I'm invested.
Yeah.
I just don't really want to revisit the world that's based in that story.
Based?
That was a stretch.
Nah, Michael based it all over it.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new show starring Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen as Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, has announced its full cast.
Wow.
Moses Ingram, Joel Edgerton, and Bonnie PSC.
Joel Edgerton was Uncle Owen in episode 3. Bing bong.
Yeah, I was about to say Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, respectively, from Revenge of the Sith, are returning. Makes sense. Kumail Nanjiani Indira Varma, Rupert Friend, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Sung Kang, who is Han in Fast and Furious.
Han Solo.
Simone Kessel, and Benny Safdie.
Okay, so Benny Safdie's crazy because that dude is like a super artsy filmmaker. That's one of the dudes who made Uncut Gems. Really weird. This incredibly super dramatic dude is in this Star Wars thing. It's really cool. It's like when like Bill Burr shows up. It's just like out of left field.
That's Werner Herzog in the first season.
Exactly, yeah. Kumail's in this show. That dude's ripped. Everyone's like, "Oh, look, he's Ezra." I'm like, you guys can't just keep putting characters. It doesn't work that way.
Well, they say that Moses, the speculation that Moses Ingram is going to play a young Ahsoka Tano, and I'm like, no, don't.
No. We just got that character. Come on, guys. Great cast. Like some Game of Thrones alums in there. Like it's good stuff, man. Really exciting.
I'm really excited for this. I also just don't want Ahsoka in there because like it ruins Rebels if she meets Darth Vader before that moment in Rebels.
Yeah. And there is like people have.
Well, she doesn't have to meet Darth Vader, but she can see Obi-Wan.
That's true.
There is a line in Return of the Jedi where Vader is like, Obi-Wan once thought like you that he could turn me or something. So people are speculating that like there has to be one more encounter before the first Star Wars movie to make them.
That's what a friend of ours told us about what that script was going to be. The story behind that line, which we are speculating, have speculated that script became the show.
Yeah, it makes sense. Awesome.
So the show will take place 10 years after Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith and follows the events of Anakin Skywalker falling further to the dark side and becoming the Sith Lord Darth Vader. That's all we know so far, but that's the general bits, I guess.
Get some Anakin stuff. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Man, that's good for freaking Hayden Christensen too, man.
Yeah.
Because that dude, like, not the best actor back then. He's definitely gotten better over the years, and like now he can like. I mean, he's going to be Darth Vader. Maybe we'll get some flashback stuff. Hopefully. I want to see him actually be Anakin, if we can.
I'm sure that there's something.
Yeah, there's got to be something. I hope they might have to like do some de-aging stuff, I guess, but like whatever.
I don't know. I've seen pictures of that guy. He looks good.
He does look good. It's not like he was like in his like early 20s when he made that. So yeah, it's not that much.
He could shave. You put a wig on him. It's not a big deal.
True.
Yeah, it's true.
Thor: Love and Thunder has cast Russell Crowe in a, quote, fun cameo.
Cool.
Fun.
With specifically with Thor, I can't guess it's like a character because like the cameos in Thor Ragnarok were a bunch of actors doing a stage show. So like
it's gonna be like a course.
He could be literally just some random alien and going, "Hey, it's me, I'm Russell Crowe." Like what? I'm not expecting like, "Oh, he's this character."
Yeah. Apparently we weren't supposed to know about it either, and then it got leaked because he was on set.
He's down there.
The Flash. Also, he lives in Australia, and they're filming in Australia. I believe that he decided to show up.
Hey, Russell, can you come down for a minute?
He's Jane's dad.
All right, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Throwing it out.
The Flash has cast Jordan Fisher. This is the TV show, by the way. Jordan Fisher as Bart Allen, a.k.a. Impulse, who will, in this incarnation, be Barry's son and not his grandson.
Okay.
I think Bart Allen rules. Impulse is the coolest. He's so speedy. He's just got such like a fun like just hyper energy about him. He's one of my favorite Flashes. Definitely like more of an older character. He's shown up recently, but like he's definitely more of like a 90s or 2000s guy.
He's in Young Justice.
He's in Young Justice. Thank you. I don't know if I'll start watching Flash again, but this is definitely one of those characters I'm like, oh, you got me interested for sure. We'll see.
I'm very interested in how they're going to do this because I thought that honestly my favorite season of The Flash going past season 2 was probably the one 2 seasons ago with his daughter Nora.
Yeah, Nora.
From the future, being a character throughout that whole season. And I thought they handled that really well. I thought that was really something I was invested in. So doing Bart now so soon after they did Nora, I'm really interested in how they're going to handle that.
Especially because it's like, again, it's not his grandson, it's his son.
Right. Now that's his son, not his grandson kind of thing. Yeah. So I hope that doesn't feel like kind of going to the same well. But we'll see.
Harrison will?
Also, the dude is very white. They cast a mixed actor for Nora, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
He's mixed too. He's not just white.
Oh, and then I saw a bad picture of them.
You must have.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
mixed.
yeah, he's yeah.
Okay. The Powerpuff Girls CW show has a name change. It's now called Powerpuff.
Okay.
Girls didn't test well, apparently. Donald
Powerpuff.
Faison.
HBO
Women.
had that, so
Donald Faison has been cast as Dr. Utonium, the creator of the Powerpuff Girls.
This is definitely gonna make me watch that first episode of this. For sure. I think like we're all fans of Scrubs, right? I'm guessing
sure.
here. Yeah. Like he's also up here in other things, but I just know him mostly from Scrubs. But
The last thing I saw him in, the only thing since Scrubs was Skyline.
Brandon, I was gonna say that 2008 bad science fiction movie Skylines, where they're all in an apartment.
Yeah,
Apartment. Yes.
most of what he's done lately with his career has been voice work.
Cool. Yeah, I think this is cool. A different take. He's happy and go lucky, so like cool.
The description reads: the quirky, debonair, and narcissistic scientific genius who is immensely proud of the 3 extraordinary girls he created in his lab. Staring down a midlife crisis, he is determined to repair his relationship with his now adult daughters.
Cool. Okay.
Cute.
Sounds like a CW show.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nicholas Podany has been cast as Mojo Jojo Jr.
Yeah, maybe.
Joseph Jojo Mandel Jr., as he is known,
Oh my God! What?
is a kid, the nerdy, power-hungry, insecure. So as a kid, the nerdy, power-hungry, insecure Jojo, that's what they call him, was obsessed with the Powerpuff Girls. Despite his father's grudge against them, as an adult, Jojo finds his sweetness and rage in constant battle.
Okay.
So is he like a kid that the monkey adopted?
I guess.
That's a good question. I did not think about that.
So is this going to be like a regular human wearing like that cap?
That's what
is
I'm
he a
thinking.
monkey?
He cameos.
I
He's
don't
like,
think he's a monkey. I just don't. I don't believe it. I don't believe he's a monkey.
No, it's going to be like who shows up on Flash? Is it like the Gorilla Grodd?
Yeah,
like
Gorilla
it's just
Grodd.
going to be like they're going to have Mojo Jojo show up sometimes, but his human kid, like, yeah, I adopted him. I'm not a villain anymore. Oh my God, that's wild.
But I hate
Mojo
those Powerpuff
Jojo.
Girls.
Is Mojo Jojo dead, you think? How long do monkeys live?
He's a super
He's
monkey.
a super
though.
monkey.
He's a monkey, okay.
His brain literally extended.
I'm not
past
saying
his
he's
jaw.
dead. I'm asking you, do we think he is?
No.
That would be very CW of them to have him have a dead dad. So like, yeah,
would
my
be.
villain dad's dead. Yeah.
All right, look,
Sci-fi shit right there.
I am still into this. I think this sounds really fun.
Mojo Jojo has probably been one of the biggest things I'm concerned about. Like, how are you going to tackle it? Because he is like half the DNA of that show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this is
The fact that
this is not turning me off. I'm just
Yeah.
like, yo, like, drop the other shoe. What are we doing here?
he's there from like the get go. So yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Utonium's first creation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I continue to remain like suspicious of how they'll handle the villains.
Yeah.
You know,
Fuzzy Lumpkins.
I wonder.
whether it's classic or new, the villains have
yeah.
a look, and I don't want to see like villains that I would see on the Flash on Powerpuff Girls.
I wonder. Yeah, they're probably going to create new villains, but like, how do you create something new and iconic like him, or like Mojo Jojo? Like in
It can't be all their kids.
Yeah.
Him seems eternal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a demon. He's a Satan.
Oh,
Okay.
I would love to see him in the show. That's good.
I would love to see him if it's not just some non-binary dude in a trench coat. Like if you go for like the demonic look with the claws and like go for it.
See, that's my thing is I'm really nervous the show's gonna pull its punches on the appearances of these figures.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you gotta go. I do not want to see things that I would see on all of the CW shows. I don't want to see those interpretations of how they like this for the CW television show is how I do this comic book character. And I'm like, that's fine. They're all based in being humanoid at least.
Yeah.
But these villains are not.
Okay, so quick tangent. Did you guys see that meme about Lil Nas X's new music video?
Hell yeah.
About
It's
people.
a great song. You should listen.
It is. I saw the video. It's really good. But I love it when people are freaking out. It's like, you do realize like they pull up a picture of him from Powerpuff Girls. It's like you do realize this is like one of our favorite villains from one of our favorite kids shows growing up, right? Chill the F out.
No, of course they don't. That's the point. Yeah. Lil Nas X for him.
Oh, that would be actually really good.
funny.
That would be really cool casting.
He got the boots. He got the boots. He could rock those.
He does have the boots. You're right.
Boots.
I thought of it while I was watching it. I'm like, this is what I want.
Like I don't want to see the amoeba boys just be people.
Yeah.
No, they gotta be.
No, they gotta be amoebas. They gotta.
Don't get mad at me, Ben.
No.
I'm just saying what I don't want to see.
Hey, stop it.
All right. Anyway, we know that The Long Halloween is being adapted. Batman: The Long Halloween in a 2-part animated movie. Now we know the cast. This is going to be directed by Chris Palmer, who is the director for Superman: Man of Tomorrow. Superman: Man of Tomorrow is really good. I really enjoyed that movie. And Tim Sheridan is returning to write. Real quickly, I just want to say what I think is really cool about like Superman: Man of Tomorrow, Justice Society, World War II, or this is they're not going to the same well of directors. They're finding people from different art departments throughout animation to put a different spin on these animated films, even though they have a similar visual style. I think that's really cool and bringing a lot of new, fresh voices to the franchise.
Yeah. That's smart. A lot of those DC animated movies, a lot of them good, but like they're directed by like the same 3 people.
Yeah. But these so far have not been, so I think that's cool.
Right on. Yeah.
They have also announced the cast. Jensen Ackles, who, if you may recall, did a long time on Supernatural, also in Red Hood, in Batman Red Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Will play Bruce Wayne / Batman.
Okay.
So
Moving
on. Got an
up.
upgrade. Troy Baker is going to play the Joker.
Cool.
Not the first time.
No, he's really good as the Joker. I'm glad he's coming back. Mm-hmm. Naya Rivera, who is unfortunately the deceased actress from Glee, finished her voice work before passing on Selena Kyle, Catwoman.
Oh yeah, she is good for that role. Yeah.
She passed away in July, if you don't remember. Josh Duhamel will play Harvey Dent, which I think. All
right, he's got like a chin for it, sure.
Yeah. Billy Burke from Twilight, is Bella's dad, will play James Gordon.
He's even got like a mustache in it for it. Beautiful.
Titus Welliver will play.
I know this isn't live action.
I know.
I'm just saying, like all these characters, like they work.
It's really gonna sound like he's got that mustache.
Yeah, I like it.
Titus Welliver from Lost will play Carmine Falcone. David Dastmalchian will play Calendar Man. This will be the 3rd DC character he's played.
Yeah. Jeez.
Amy Landecker will play Barbara Gordon. Julie Nathanson will play Gilda Dent. Jack Quaid as Alberto. I don't know who that is. Fred Tatas. I know Jack Quaid is. Fred Tatasciore, will play Solomon Grundy, and Alistair Duncan will play Alfred.
I think Alberto is the guy who works for Harvey, the guy with the glasses, who's also working for Salvatore Moroni.
Cool. Carmine Falcone?
No, Salvatore Moroni.
Oh, I guess he is supposed to be in this movie. We'll see. There's other people in the cast, but they don't have character names as far as we know. So cool. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah. Jensen Ackles is also in The Boys now, right? He's in the new season of The Boys. He's really upgraded. That poor other guy.
Thank God that he's getting work in escaping Supernatural.
Man, yeah, somebody has to.
Because the other guy got Walker.
Oh God, he's just gonna. You know what the reality is? That dude will probably just star in like a Supernatural spinoff that's just about him.
Yeah, probably.
Look, Jensen and Jared could never do anything else for their rest of their lives and be fine.
No, that's
because like they
true.
don't need to work.
That's
and
not
so
what I
Jared
mean,
will like. Jared can just take shit if he wants to.
I'm just
he
saying,
doesn't need it.
Jensen is starring in one of the most popular television shows of all time, and then the other guy he's playing Walker
on the same network.
On the same network.
Yeah. I think
everybody knows. Really cool. Everybody knows that one of them was prime cut talent, and the other one was like
available.
Oh,
that's so sad.
I think it's really cool casting, and it's the same animation style that we see in Man of Tomorrow and World War II. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, me too.
Once Upon a Blue Moon, just to remind everyone, Jensen Ackles was also, although we now know that a whole lot of people are on this list, but Jensen Ackles was one of the people pursuing Captain America for those films.
Wyatt Russell, way back when, was too, and now he's evil Captain America. How funny life is.
So that means Jensen Ackles will be in the MCU soon, right?
Honestly, give it enough years. Yes,
it's very funny because I remember when it was happening, they did this cute nod to it because they were like the team was hoping that he was going to get it because they were nearing the end of the original 5-season run. So there's this one bit where they're exploring a house and he pulls down a helmet that has an A on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Because they were like, if it happens, this is going to be real cute.
And Brandon, real quick, you said this is a 2-part thing, right?
Yeah.
Cool. That the Long Halloween is good, and you can't cut out dates. Those are important to the story.
No, you cannot. And that's my favorite Batman story. So, and I'm like, cool. I've been waiting for this for a good long while.
Good. Yeah. Jensen Ackles, Joseph Krasinski.
John Krasinski.
Was also auditioned for Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Peele's next movie. Don't know what it is, but we do know it's cast Steven Yeun.
Cool.
Yay.
I think that's cool.
He's a good actor. Jordan Peele makes good movies. Cool.
Really hope he wins that Oscar.
Steven Yeun, Minari, right? That's his movie that is getting the Oscar buzz. Yeah. Yeah. Who's also on Walking Dead, Voltron, and currently Invincible. Yeah. All right. Some comic book news. John Romita Jr. is coming back to Marvel exclusively.
Oh.
Going to be working on a secret project in July. Cool.
Last time he was at Marvel was for Avengers versus X-Men, right?
Oh yeah. Then he went to DC for a while. Yeah.
He's been at DC for a while. Yeah.
Because I remember one of the big selling points for a Superman jumping on book was, I want to say, Superman 30 something, New 52 stuff. It was when Jeff Johns and John Romita Jr. were doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, it was because I want to say that was the last thing I remember seeing John's name on was for Avengers versus X-Men. I could be wrong, but
I don't know. But he's been not exclusive with DC. I don't think, but now he's exclusive with Marvel, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that dude has seminal runs on characters like he's been doing it for decades. Like, he's an icon. Just like his dad, right? My problem with him as of recently, he draws a lot of very similar faces, and that's not always a problem, but like the image, like the promo image that was released, could have been a little bit better. I'm just saying, if it's going to be your big image of you coming back, some of those faces were real. Like, I didn't put the effort. But hey, I'm glad he's back. He has a lot of fans.
Yeah. Run. There's something behind you. Ben, run. Ben, run.
We got cameras. See if we can.
All right. Run, which is going to be the sequel to March, John Lewis's March, which we read as a book club at one point.
Mm-hmm. We'll read a part of it. You read a part of
it. we did a jog.
Yeah.
The first book will be released on August 3rd. And we'll go into the years after the Voting Rights Act were passed.
Yeah, I was really glad to hear this announced because not long after John Lewis passed away, I was looking around like, do we know? Did he finish Run? And we still don't actually know. Nobody has clarified if he finished it. But he certainly at least had more than the first book because it was supposed to be a full new trilogy. And they're calling this book 1, so I have to assume book 2 and 3 are coming, but we still know nothing about it. Because he'd been working on this for the past couple of years before he passed away.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask the same question. It's like, but because he's passed. How long? What has it been since he passed away?
A couple months.
It hasn't been a year, has it?
No, it hasn't been a year. It's been like about 6 to 7 months.
Okay.
It was in the pandemic, and it could be 2 months or 8 months.
Dude, that pandemic. Everything's blurring together. It sucks.
Yeah.
Aftershock Comics has announced a new YA imprint called Seismic Press.
It's a great name.
It's going to be for ages 12 and 18 and will launch with a book called Rainbow Bridge from Steve Orlando and Steve Fox with art by Valentina Brancanti.
So Norse mythology then?
No, it's actually about a boy who lost his dog and then accidentally gets a rainbow, like opens the rainbow bridge to like the doggy afterlife, and then goes on adventures with the dog, learning courage and things. Actually, sounds really sweet.
Are you actually fucking with me, or is it?
No, that's serious. That's
this is it's real. I think this is awesome. Aftershock is one of like the best like publishers of straight weird genre shit. Like like kind of what Image used to do before. Now Image puts out just literally everything. They put out so much stuff. But like them just focusing on kids and like, hey, we want to tell the same stories but with kids. I think that's awesome. Like kids like can like comics too. Like not everything has to be geared towards adults who love gore. You know,
they're going
Brandon,
to.
I'm sorry, I doubted you.
That's okay. They're going to repurpose some older books that would fall into this line as Seismic Press. So when they reprint those books, it'll have the Seismic Press logo.
I love it. I'm glad that they're successful enough that they can do something like this.
Yeah, me too. Other books will launch in 2022 from Richard Ashley Hamilton, who wrote How to Train Your Dragon, the books, and Ted Anderson, who wrote Orphan Age, the book. So,
all right, cool.
That's cool. Marvel Comics, for some reason, has delayed Predator. Every Predator project will now come out in November instead of July or June. Sorry, which was weird. Nobody knows why they did that.
From when to when? I'm sorry.
June to November.
That's kind of a long time. Maybe
like 5 months.
Maybe the reception of Alien was so bad they're like, this Predator book has to be effing good. Delay it and redo it.
Maybe.
I hope so. Because I was really excited for that. And they've not only delayed the title, but they've delayed all the Marvel vs. Predator variants and all of the Dark Horse reprints that they were going to put out. All delayed.
Wow.
Man. Yeah, it makes me it'll still come out.
Yeah.
Plenty of comics.
Or is that Predator movie much closer than we think?
Ooh.
Oh man, you think they'll just be like, surprise?
Drop in November?
Wouldn't that be insane?
That
I mean, they were
crazy.
on it for like years, and like it's done apparently. So like, yeah.
Is it? Did they say it was done? I thought he was just working on it.
I think it's done. I think it might be done. It's almost like one of those small ones that they filmed.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be crazy.
That'd be great.
Spider-Man Life Story. We all read that for a book club. Chip Zdarsky, Mark Bagley are returning to the book. Spider-Man Life Story Annual will come out, which will focus on Daily Bugle editor-in-chief J. Jonah Jameson and his efforts to prove that Spider-Man is a menace.
Love it.
So it's J. Jonah Jameson life story.
Basically, yeah. That book rules. From Zdarsky's Twitter, he's like, yeah, this is a story we wanted to tell in the book, but just there wasn't enough time. So we get to do it now in an annual, which is, a double-sized comic book. So cool.
More of the story is great. Always good.
100%.
All right, Killtopia. Sparks, you want to put this one in?
Yeah.
This is a Voltaku new project. It is a new company that is a hybrid studio specializing in virtual production and game engines. This is going to be their first animated project, their first project in general, based on Dave Cook and Craig Payton's comic book series.
It's all a cyberpunk setting, and the reason why this is crazy is it's an animated show made with the Unreal engines.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be either that could be really good or really bad.
Right.
It's really good or really bad.
Yeah, doesn't immediately make me excited, but it's cool that they're trying something new.
They use the Unreal Engine in the volume on the Mandalorian. That's the Unreal Engine.
That's like backgrounds and stuff though, but like not like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So this will be written by Phil Gallett, who did Love, Death, and Robots and Rise of the Tomb Raider. Directed by Ruari Robinson, who did Last Days on Mars and the Europa Report. And as Spark says, it's the Unreal Engine. It's going to be 8 episodes.
Cool. Yeah, it's a cyberpunk comic series, so
I'm into that.
We'll see.
I'll wait for a trailer.
I'm very intrigued by the setup. This.
Yeah. We talked about Shin Evangelion, Shin Ultraman, and now here's Shin Kamen Rider, which was announced this week. Hideki Anno will be returning to his Shin genre. Different company again. He's going through all the companies in Japan, being like, I can Shin this if you want.
The question is he going to them, or are they coming to him and going, "Can you Shin for us, please?" Like,
you know what? I'm sure it's actually that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Kamen Rider, for those of you who don't know, is kind of a Power Rangers thing. Colorful, bug-masked people riding motorcycles. They're superheroes.
Hell yeah.
Hideki Anno is developing this reimagining from the ground up, much like he did with Shin Godzilla and Shin Ultraman. And it's going to be released in 2023.
Yeah. So I don't think they would make that announcement if they didn't think Ultraman was coming in at least the next year.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Shin Super Senkai?
Actually, just do like Power Rangers, like actual Power Rangers. Yeah. God, make it super dramatic. Oh my god, that'd be so good. Make it body horror.
Shin Gamera, I hope, is next as well. But just keep going. Every long-running Japanese franchise, just Shin it.
100%. That'd be
Shin Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're going to talk about a movie in the trailers. That's another stepping stone into that Dragon Ball Z movie.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's cool. And look, I like Hideki Anno a lot, as we all do. So, Adam Wingard is going to direct a new feature film adaptation of Thundercats. Ho!
I don't believe it.
David Cogshall has already written a script, and Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett, who wrote The Guest, will rework it.
The Guest rules. Yeah. So I guess the success of Godzilla Kong. And they announced we're gonna do a Thundercats. I do not believe it until I see it, because while Godzilla and Kong are crazy concepts, a bunch of cat people is a way crazier concept. I will believe it when I see it. I don't care if scripts are made. It's easy to write words. It's hard to make movies.
A Thundercat adaptation, a Thundercat film adaptation has been in the works for a very long time.
I believe it has, but also I'm still looking at cats. I'm talking about.
Interestingly, the interview, Adam Wingard talked about it, and he's like, "I'm looking to really bend the gap between cartoon and CG, and I'm gonna try very hard to stay away from cats territory."
Okay, good, because I've not seen the movie, but I have seen the trailers, and for me, the trailer was enough.
Look, here's the thing. Cats could have looked good in the sense of being CGI things if they did the CGI properly. They
did all just dancing in regular clothes and expected the animators to animate over it perfectly.
Yeah,
they set themselves up for failure.
Okay.
Why do we keep giving this guy musicals?
Because he made one good one 20 years ago.
I am intrigued, but I also have seen director after director leave The Flash, so we'll see.
That's what I mean. This is one of those properties that's so big.
We've seen director after director leave Thundercats.
Yeah.
Thundercats,
I feel it's definitely one of those.
Go ahead.
Thundercats is one of those properties where you have to be a huge Thundercats fan to do this.
He says he is.
Which I'm cool. I'm all for it, but I'm with Ryan on this one. I do not believe this is real until a trailer comes out for it. Then I'm like, cool, this is actually coming out.
He will do this after the Face Off sequel he's also working on.
All right. It's either the trailer or the Entertainment Weekly cover shot. One of those two things has to happen. I'm like, cool, this is real.
He's making Face Off?
He's making Face Off, yeah.
All right. Okay. I think he's got a good directing tone. The tone, I think that works out. Yeah. Okay.
Death Note notwithstanding.
No, but the movie he just made, and then The Guest and You're Next, that was a blip. He blipped.
This is just kind of for me. This is kind of I really like the company Leica, who does the stop motion animated films. Coraline's most famous one. I've loved all of their movies.
Why can't this just be for everyone? Everyone likes Leica.
Yeah,
not as much.
I apologize. Perhaps I'm misremembering that nobody's seen these movies. Okay, so I'm just remembering Ben having just seen Coraline. Got it.
I have seen all of these except for Missing Link.
So you'd like Missing Link. They're working on a sixth stop motion anime film currently, but they don't know they haven't told us what it is.
Wait.
Oh,
they say wait.
Yeah, because they did Kubo and the Two Strings, right?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, that's my favorite one of theirs.
Okay, cool.
Kubo.
But now the news is that Travis Knight has said that they are going to work on their first ever live action film. They're going to break away from stop motion animation for at least one film called 17, which they purchased the rights from. It's a to-be published book by John Brownlow. This is his first book. Travis Knight has faced in Leica to do a live action adaptation of it, which is interesting.
That's really cool. Travis Knight did Bumblebee, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, all of his movies are really fun and inventive. like a live action, like cool adventure. Like that's really cool. Leica doing live action. That's gonna be. I wonder what that story is gonna be. I hope it's definitely not gonna be boring. That's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because they built themselves up as they were trying to. That's like the Pixar of stop motion.
Yeah.
And to like be like, this is like Pixar. It's exactly be Pixar being like, we're gonna do a live action movie now.
Yeah.
Instead of just live action parts.
Watch it just be like a drama about a farm.
Yeah, right. We needed something easy.
Yeah.
Or someone who's really into that Stevie Nicks song.
Oh, Edge of 17. Yeah.
Oh, that's a movie too.
Yes, the song is like the movie's like based on the song.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought it was just coincidence. Okay. Knives Out. We all like Knives Out. Rian Johnson's Knives Out is getting a sequel, which we know, and it's also getting a third one because Netflix has purchased both of those to be filmed movies for $450 million.
Wow.
That's almost $500 million for 2 Knives Out movies
that aren't filmed yet.
Oh my God. And Rian Johnson, like, I can't even imagine that phone call. Like, yo, bro, can we buy your property for like $500 million? Like, what? How do you even like process that? That's crazy.
The saddest thing to me about this is that it's going to be a very long time before I can put the rest of the Knives Out films on my shelf.
Oh yeah.
Especially if they keep the book motif for the.
Yeah, because they had this beautiful steelbook, like it looks like a book, mystery book motif, and that's probably out the window.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. $500 million.
Yeah.
I'm stoked that we're getting 2 more Knives Out. I hope they're just as good.
I mean, it's probably way too early to tell, but Johnson is going to write and direct these new movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and they were clear, like Benoit Blanc's in all of them.
Awesome. Oh. More Southern accent, Daniel Craig, please.
No, I was gonna say, please have a different accent.
I think people are talking about like different title. I think the different title thing people are onto. I don't think this one will be called like Knives Out 2. I think it'll be
like Death of the Nile. Like there's like a difference.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be like Spoons Out, but I kind of wish it would.
No.
Sporks in.
All right, trailers.
We're in the trailer park.
Yasuke, the new animated Netflix series.
I'm so excited for this, you guys. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay, Ryan, the way you were like doing this moving around, I was like, are you okay? What's wrong?
No, yeah, I'm brushing off how cool it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Keith Stanfield is the main character.
Yeah, it's about the first Black Samurai or the only Black Samurai. I don't know, but it's like somewhat based on a true story, but introducing like mythological elements and like Oni and demons and shit. And like this looks great. The animation looks great. I got it's coming soon. I'm excited.
Yeah. Shadow and Bone. This is the one where I saw like her doing the like key thing that she does. I'm like, oh, we're getting like a couple of years with a Dragon Ball movie.
Oh yeah.
From like a good Dragon Ball movie, we're getting there. Stuff. Yeah. You put Brie Larson, you put Captain Marvel, Aquaman, Mortal Kombat, and this together. You basically got one.
Yeah, man. I can't even think about Dragon Ball Z live action because I just think of what we got and I'm like, never again.
That looks like Wanda's powers, that the Kamehameha and that.
Yeah. This looks like a pretty cool like dark fantasy thing with powers. It's based off a young adult series. I probably won't watch it immediately, but like it looks good. It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks fine.
It looks cool. Jigsaw in it from Punisher.
You got I like how you got like a mix of Victorian fantasy but also you got like gunslingers and stuff. So it's like a mix of magic, swords, and guns. Mm-hmm. So it's like this nice harmony between all three things. So I'm like, that's pretty sweet. Yeah. But then you got like, I will, no matter where you are, I will find you. It's like, oh, there's that YA trope that's in every single freaking thing.
Yeah, there's a certain moment where it's like, oh yeah, this does feel like one of those, but like
it's the romance subplot that the fantasy really highlights a lot of times.
Yeah, but what's that old lady from? I know I've seen her before. The one who goes, "Work begins."
I also thought I was like, I recognize her from somewhere, and I couldn't tell you, Ben. I'll look it up.
That's because I saw her. I was like, I know you from somewhere, and when I saw you from, I really liked you in. Like, don't know where. I don't remember it. It's bugging me.
I'll find it. Don't worry.
Rick and Morty season 5. Also,
Cool.
the release date for Rick and Morty season 5 is June 20th.
More Rick and Morty. That's awesome. Still haven't seen season 4. Still haven't seen Snake Jazz. Really need to do that.
Season 4 is on HBO Max if you haven't.
Yes, it is. Still need to do that.
I was watching this trailer and I was remembering Solar Opposites, which I enjoy, and I remember Lower Decks, which I enjoy, and the other Rick and Morty knockoffs that I've seen and enjoyed. And I'm watching this trailer, I'm like, man, I know that fandom is really insufferable, but nobody does it like Rick and Morty.
No, they don't.
No, not at all.
You can't. They can take the aesthetics all they want, the tone all they want. Nobody is Rick and Morty.
No,
that lady is from Harry Potter. She's one of the ladies in Harry Potter. That's at least where I recognize her from. I agree about the Rick and Morty thing. Watching this trailer, I'm like, man, there are just some jokes that like just no show does or even tries to accomplish. It is,
and when they try, it always falls short.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
So
There's a reason Rick and Morty is as popular and welcomed by everyone as it is.
Yeah.
but
Those
you can
Rick and
only
Morty
like
clones.
it. Only like it if you're an intellectual.
Oops, sorry.
Sorry.
Guess I'm out.
Oopsie poopsies.
Like watching all these other Rick and Morty knockoffs and like enjoying them, and you just go Rick and Morty is like they try, but they don't succeed.
There's nothing like the original.
All right, Star Wars: The Bad Batch coming with a 70-minute premiere episode.
Ooh.
Nice.
Really excited for this. I love the Clone Wars animation. I think this looks awesome.
Yeah. So they're working for the Empire because they're still using clones to finish off the Separatists, is what it looks like.
Well, it looked like to me that aren't Clone Force 99 on the run?
I mean, eventually, but I mean, we're seeing stuff early on, I imagine. Like where Tarkin's watching them, where we're seeing them attack battle droids, things like that. I don't think those are flashbacks. I think that it makes some sense. Palpatine couldn't just wave a magic wand and say, because the Jedi are gone, also the war is over. Convenient, no?
You gotta still finish it.
He had to still, for face value, finish the war with the Separatists, even though he knew the leaders were dead and all of that stuff. He had to win the war.
Yeah,
so I think we're going to see that that very postulating winning the war.
And I guess like the Bad Batch, like at the beginning is like we still work for the Empire, but then like their bad's like, no, we gotta renegade. We gotta kill our bros.
Well, it looks like the Empire tries to get rid of them because they're defective. Yeah. They are defective clones.
They're unreliable.
Yeah.
So the Empire's like, get rid of them, and they're like, no, screw you.
We're the bad bitches. The animation looks like every show continues to look nicer and nicer and better and better.
Uh-huh.
And like some shots in the show, I'm just like, man, this looks like I'd watch this in a movie theater. This looks real good. I'm so excited, and it's like a mini series thing, so like they can really focus on telling us a solid story. Can't wait. When is it? May 4th? May the 4th be with you?
May 4th.
May 4th.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that'll be a good time. I'm very interested in the idea of seeing how the Republic shifted just after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Propaganda.
Well, the Empire, you mean?
But I mean, like the Republic at large. Yes, it becomes the Empire, but that again, like they changed the title, but it didn't just become the Empire overnight.
Sure.
So how did it move from the Republic? I mean,
all right, The Wrath of Man, new Guy Ritchie movie with Jason Statham.
This looks sadly generic.
I do not believe Guy Ritchie directed this because Guy Ritchie, even if I don't like his movies, at least has style. And this looks so boring and generic.
I really like his movies in general. Like I've talked my praise to the Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows all the time.
Yeah,
but The Gentleman is awesome, and I'm watching this and I'm like, Guy Ritchie directed this?
Well, for every The Gentleman and for Sherlock Holmes, we have to get a King Arthur and Legend of Excalibur.
No. Again, I mean, King Arthur might be bad, but that movie looks incredible. And the movie has a visual style. This movie does not look like a Guy Ritchie movie. This looks like random director number 7 directed this movie.
Yeah. And also, like, it doesn't help that I think I'm just over being able to get any enjoyment out of Jason Statham by himself, spear leading. Like, if he's doing the same thing, I'm over it. I've seen it. I'm done. And then to have the film around him be this, like, what you expect movie. I'm like, I don't care.
If it
I've
wasn't,
seen it, I've done it. I don't care.
If it wasn't for the cast, this screams straight to DVD all
Ooh,
over it.
Jason Statham shot 2 guys sitting in chairs on either side of him without looking at them. Why do I feel like I've seen that before? I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Josh Hartnett's in it. I like him a lot, but I'm not going to see it just because of him. So,
The Night House, new Rebecca Hall horror movie.
Ooh, this looks spooky. I like it. I like Rebecca Hall.
This looks creepy.
I really like the shot where she makes the person face and the person face turns. Like, oh.
Something to do with either like a mirror dimension or like just like a mirror version of yourself. And there's like a lot of mirror imagery going on. This looks really cool. Just like it's like a low budget movie that does some cool stuff with camera work. I'm totally down to see this.
Same.
Zola. Sparks, you put this one on here.
I did. I can't exactly tell you why I think that I wanted us to watch this beyond the fact that I saw people who know people in the industry who are like, you're going to want to watch this movie, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to want to watch this movie, apparently, guys. This is coming from voices I trust, including Maggie Mayfish, who we all enjoy.
Yeah,
but even people who know the people who've worked on this, and it's an A24 film, so I'm willing to trust them because that studio rarely lets me down.
Yeah.
It never has let me down. Apparently, this is something to keep an eye out for in terms of indie film storytelling. So there you go.
It's about.
Want to make sure it's on your radar.
It's about a couple young girls trying to make some money and how it's a white girl and a black girl, and the white girl is definitely acting not how she should be acting, and how that is going to influence the movie, and how it's living in the digital age of like influence and like your image, and it looks to be really intense.
I've gotten a little bit of pushback before when I've said that the movie looks like crap, so I'll just say this trailer was crap.
Okay,
I really hated this.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, this reminded me of movies like Spring Breakers, or there's a movie that came out called Alpha Dog, which is about a bunch of young people. It's got the Speed Racer kid. I always forget his name. Emil Hirsch.
Yes.
And Justin Timberlake, and that's a bunch of young people who become criminals and really bad shit happens. So I got vibes from that. I definitely, if there's hype around it, I believe it because it looks like it's talking about like some serious issues and stuff. I'm probably not going to run out to see it. I'm
for sure. Yeah, it's more the kind of thing where like every bastion of my Twitter that I tend to have, which is a lot of like hard awareness, like recognize this thing when it comes up, says you're going to want to pay attention to this movie drop. Doing my due diligence, but apparently pay attention to this movie drop.
So,
I mean, I trust you, and I trust the people you follow. So sure. Spiral from the Book of Saw.
How does your partner feel about this one, Brandon? Did you show her this trailer?
Yeah, she's really excited.
I'm also very excited.
Me too. I recently watched all the Saw films, if you recall. Like, I'm really excited for it, but I'm kind of wondering, like, if you're not doing Cary Elwes as the killer, why are we doing what are we doing? Because it's like it's supposed to be the cult of Jigsaw.
Yeah,
and like Cary Elwes was the head of the cult of Jigsaw by the end of the movie of the franchise.
I think maybe, and it might not be the case.
Spoilers, by the way, for anyone who hadn't seen
the last Saw
films.
But like, it seems like Sam Jackson says like, oh, copycat killer. So like, it might just be that, just so they can make another Saw movie, but make like an interesting one. Because
I'd like to see the continuation of the cult of Jigsaw. I would like to see like the cult of Jigsaw is the ones doing this, not because they get really protective. The whole idea is that like if there is a copycat, we killed the copycat because they're not right for this.
I mean that could be actually the plot of it. Like somebody's trying to do it, so it's going to bring back the old cult. Like we're in charge again, and it's a new franchise or something.
Have they been clear that this every previous Saw film is canon to this movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. It could have been a Halloween 2018 situation where they're like only 1 and 4.
No, because Jigsaw's dead, and that happens in like one of the later movies.
Right.
Well, no, he dies actually pretty early.
My point being, like, you could do a thing where you said only 1 is canon, and the Jigsaw killer died, but it's not the same circumstances of the later film. I just wanted to know if that's what we were dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird because Jigsaw is also kind of like a soft reboot of the Saw franchise, and then trying it again. So.
And that only came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, I have more faith in this one though. Jigsaw's crap.
Yeah, this one actually, like, Chris Rock's actually like acting, looking good. Yeah.
Well, it feels like this is trying to grab an audience that maybe has never been grabbed by the Saw films before,
or has jumped ship
or jumped ship a long time ago.
Yeah.
The person who's like me, who liked a single Saw film, the first one, and then didn't watch the others except for one, and was like meh. Yeah. Then this is the film that for me.
Yeah.
As watching all 8, I do miss the "Hello, detective."
Yeah.
I will miss that.
Batman?
It's time to play a game.
Yeah, who knows?
They made 2 Saw video games. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did?
They're puzzle games where you die if you lose.
That makes sense.
Space Jam: A New Legacy. Finally got a look at the new Space Jam movie. Oh, I was gonna do a bit. I was gonna do a stupid bit where I called it Ready Player 2.
Come on and slam, y'all.
Ben, I don't think I've ever hated Ready Player One more than in this moment for making this shit feel standard. Which I do hang on that movie's head. F that, man.
All the stuff in one thing.
Everything that's related to the Looney Tunes, I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All of it. The 2D animation is vibrant and gorgeous. The 3D animation looks great, and I love that it's a gimmick that they're changed when they go to a different area. Cool. I'm sold on that. Looney Tunes look good. Love it. Love it. And then there's everything else.
Hey guys, did you see Mr. Freeze in his code? How funny is that?
I
The
saw
Clockwork Orange guys.
Jim Carrey's The Mask.
I didn't see
Saw
the
him
map.
the second time. Saw him. Yep.
They'll because they made a big deal about it. Warner Brothers took out Pepe Le Pew, famous gross skunk man, but leave front and center the Clockwork Orange boys, some of the most violent, most deranged characters.
That's because they know that most of the audience isn't going to notice or care.
Yeah, because
Pepe Le Pew's actually a present character.
That's just funny.
So that's the thing.
Because when I think of the Clockwork Orange guys,
understand.
I think of a guy with a giant dildo killing somebody.
It's
so
sure.
It's just like, wow. And then you see King Kong, it's like, oh yeah, basketball.
I think the problem there, if I really wanted to dissect the Pepe Le Pew thing,
Yeah.
the problem with Pepe Le Pew is that
They made a
he's
scene
not,
in.
No, he's not villainized for his actions.
Oh, okay.
At
Yeah.
least Clockwork Orange, they are.
Mm.
Pepe Le Pew is treated as, look, he wins in the end. He's always the protagonist of his own ventures.
That's
That's
fair.
the problem with him.
Okay.
Anyway,
That's fair.
that
All that being said, if I were a kid, I think this looks really fun.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I like not caring too much about basketball. Like again, I trust Don Cheadle. That kid, that dude, maybe just needed a new pool or whatever. Like everybody needs a new pool.
I am here to say, like, I'm here to critique these things, but I hope sincerely that children like this. It is for their demographic. We are not the target audience. And look, Space Jam is a crap movie, so I'm not even defending it against the original Space Jam.
It is.
the Looney Tunes back in action is fantastic.
But I'm a huge fan of the Looney Tunes, and like I find it strange that we felt like in order to make a Looney Tunes movie, we had to cut and paste a scene from Ready Player One into our movie.
Yeah, and is that just them like coming to the stadium to watch the game? It's not even like a pivotal scene. It looks like they're all just like, we're just gonna go watch the game, and it's gonna get messy.
I can't even tell you like how much I am bored with the concept of them spending so much time deciding who's in the audience
And money.
in every single shot.
Like
I'm like that. There's an Easter egg or 15 in every single shot that you see the audience in the background, and I'm like, what a waste. What a waste of distraction and bullshit.
Because when we first heard about this, I think we all assumed that these characters would be playing. They would be playing basketball. Like I made it. I think I said in another podcast. Like I thought I was going to be seeing Voldemort do some mad dribbles. Like I thought that's the game we were playing. It's Looney Tunes versus Voldemort and like other Warner Bros. And Scorpion like doing some stuff. Like that's what I thought we were getting. And then it's just like they're on the sidelines. I'm like, then why?
And you know what? If you're gonna do a goon squad, like the evil team, and you're not gonna do the Monstars again, then you make those characters other Warner Brothers IP, like the bad guys, other Warner Brothers IP. Like, why do we need to make them some generic, weird? I don't know what they're supposed to be.
Michael Shannon, Zod, and Voldemort, and they're playing basketball together.
I gotta tell you 100%. Like if they are not, I know they don't all look like him, but if they're not all like alternate versions of LeBron, I don't even know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason I can see to justify the choice.
Oh, the bad guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they're not that, then I like. Why are we here?
Because they just look like bad X-Men characters. Like they're always like, I'm the fire one, I'm the water one. Like
at least the Monstars had motivation
and personality
and characters, and these are just like, I have a power set.
There's elements.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Say what you will about the original Space Jam. At least the original Space Jam was kind of original, where these monsters steal the talent of real life NBA players. That was cool.
Everything about Space Jam 1 that works is about the Looney Tunes versus the Monstars themselves. Those characters interacting is what's working about that movie.
That movie's
Michael Jordan is the problem in the movie.
That movie's
not
also
those characters.
A giant commercial.
It is.
Huge
so is this
commercial.
one for all of Warner Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
This is a commercial for HBO Max. Is all it is. And it's look at all the things you could watch if you tune into HBO Max.
Batman, Superman world. Wow. Member
Game of Thrones.
Member Daenerys and how she got her character ruined.
I will say that LeBron James looks to be giving a shit rather than Michael Jackson's wooden acting.
Yeah, I think
Michael Jackson.
Whatever.
I think LeBron James is bringing something to the table, which is nice to see. I want to be optimistic, and I want to believe that the logic of this movie is that the reason why it's even somewhat purposeful to have the other Warner Brothers IP in it is because Don Cheadle's character calls the Looney Tunes the rejects. So I hope that the story is that all the other Warner Brothers IP also thinks of the Looney Tunes as the screw-ups, the unnecessaries, the worthless. And I hope this is about them proving themselves in the eyes of all of Warner Brothers IP. And if that's the story, I'm here for it. If it's basically Jason Segel's The Muppets for the Looney Tunes, I'm here for that. I'm here for that story, and I'm okay with you using the extra IP to make that story hit. I want to believe that's what it is. I'm not confident that's what it is, though.
Come on, it's like.
But I want to dream that it's going to be that.
I mean, I could easily see like Bugs Bunny like doing some sort of speeches like, "Look, if it wasn't for us, none of y'all would be here."
True.
I don't even think it needs to be that necessarily, but I know what you mean. Like, I want that exact same sensation. Like, no matter how much it has lasted or worked since then, Jason Segel's The Muppets film was a meta commentary on how people have forgotten about the Muppets. That also, in the same token, was about the Muppets revitalizing themselves in the world, and the movie literally doing that for the Muppets in reality. Right. I want this to do the same thing for Looney Tunes. I want it to be that thing where like everyone can care about the Looney Tunes again, and they can move forward with marketing them better in the future and do projects with them again. Yeah. It's about that in a meta way. I want it to be that because I love that about Jason Segel's The Muppets.
And I hope so, because now I'm just thinking back of in a time when the Looney Tunes were everywhere. It was awesome. Even though I knew these cartoons came out in the 50s and 60s and 70s, I loved watching the Looney Tunes on Nickelodeon. There was like an hour-long block of them, and I'm watching Looney Tunes. Leave me alone.
Bro, I cannot tell you how much I would love for there to be a moment in this movie that made me like cry the way the Muppets did when Kermit says that they lost the studio, so they're done. No one will care about them anymore. And they walk out the door, and there's the whole audience that's come who's so happy that the Muppets are back doing a show. Oh. And I just and I want that in this. So I hope. I really hope.
Yeah, really hope.
Zendaya has been cast as Lola Bunny.
Good for her.
Cool. She's great.
They're definitely taking that character in a different direction than she was on the Looney Tunes show when she was voiced by Kristen Wiig. So that's fine.
Oh, that is very different.
Yeah, she's a psychopath on that show. But
I wonder if she's gonna have like MJ vibes, like Spider-Man vibes, where she's kind of like more chill.
I hope so.
Yeah. Black Widow had a new trailer unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Do you guys like that Avengers theme?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear it?
Hey, do you guys
forget for Black Widow?
Remember that she died, you guys?
Yeah.
You think that this is going to confuse some people?
No. I think
it looks like it takes place after.
No, they specifically made this trailer for people who would be confused.
Yeah.
100%. Because this shows like this is before you knew me, before my past, and it shows literally the moment that she died. And I figure most people watching this movie would have seen Endgame. So like the epilogue and prologue aside of the trailer, the middle stuff I think is really good.
Yeah.
I'm really Jones for this movie. The family dynamic stuff seems to be like really good. Like David Harbour and what's her name? Rachel Weisz. With a W, but you pronounce it with a V. It all seems to be really cool. We see a little bit more Taskmaster. Ray Winstone's in this movie, and he's talking into his ear like, "Oh, I hate Taskmaster."
No, I didn't know he was in this movie.
Yeah, it's like a surprise.
It's definitely one of those situations where, like, I think the best version of the Black Widow trailer was the last one they made before COVID happened. And now, of course, they have to remarket the film because it's been moved and everything. It's been so much time, so they had to make this trailer. But I'm like, yeah, this is fine. I was sold with the last one. I didn't need more. But it's cool.
Most of the new footage was of a young Natasha
with the blue red hair.
Yeah. So I think this was a reminder for like the regular people, like, hey, we're still alive.
Yeah. Excited. The Suicide Squad had a new trailer.
The last one came out last week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make sure.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that the Suicide Squad would already have 2 of the best trailers of the year?
Dude,
Not me.
gosh darn it.
In a 1-2 punch.
This I can't.
He needs to make a Green Band trailer for theaters, so he was like, "I'm going to make it different." So
I think this one's even better than the last one, to be honest. I certain jokes I think landed better. Not that the other ones were bad, but just like Peacemaker. I cannot wait to watch this movie. So John Cena can be.
I can't wait to watch that show.
God, yeah. The line of the trailer for me, it's like, your name's Peacemaker. Yeah, and I'll kill every man, woman, and child to get peace. And I'm like, oh boy, I cannot wait. And James Gunn is he's such a good filmmaker, but he's made the last couple movies he made is PG-13. But Slither and Super are 2 of the most violent, gory movies you could possibly make on an indie budget. So I'm so stoked that like people are going to watch this Green Band trailer and then go watch the movie, and it's going to be so violent, and King Shark's going to be ripping people apart and stuff, man. Oh man.
In the beginning of this trailer, we get some Peter Capaldi dialogue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Love it.
Yeah. Just a lot of the same footage, some more footage. Yeah, man, it looks like a winner. Like, I don't know what to say. They showed a lot of footage. It's good.
I was sold before, and now it's like, dude, you're killing it right here.
They can't release another trailer because it's only 3 months away. I can't do it.
I don't think they'll do it. All right. Finally, the Mitchells versus the Machines has a new trailer.
This looks awesome. The animation style is really, really cool. I love that it's like it's not Spider-Verse-y, but it's like it has like comic booky pop out stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like it's out there.
This is definitely another situation where like I like the last trailer a little better.
Yes.
Overall, but there's still good content. I didn't care for like the robot opening of this trailer, but all the family stuff I'm really enjoying.
This trailer is 3 minutes long, and that's always a sign of like movie trailers. Like make them 2 minutes. Like 3 minutes it goes a little long for me. I think you're telling a little too much.
Unless it's going to be your only trailer.
Unless it's your only trailer, but yeah.
This is going to be the only trailer. That's what Netflix does when a movie's coming out.
Yes.
They release only one trailer for the month that the movie's coming out.
Right, but I mean, if it were going to be the only trailer ever, and it's not because there was the one before.
Yeah. I'm still stoked. Like Lord Miller, those guys rule. Like I can't see this being bad.
Yeah. Really excited.
I wanted to point out, not about this movie, Suicide Squad. Everyone's talked about it. I love Harley's jacket. The evolution from Daddy's little monster to Kill Clown.
Live fast.
Kill Clown.
Yeah, Kill Clown.
Love it. I'm so glad that she has this full arc that we're seeing through the movies, as haphazard as they have been to get.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm very excited for Mitchells versus the Machines.
All right, and that's it. Do we want to get into our main topic?
Nah, let's just go to the book club.
Okay.
Screonk.
Well, y'all, there's been Freddy versus Jason. There's been Batman v Superman. There's been other verses that are
Frankenstein meets the Abbott and Costello.
That's not really versus.
Alien versus Predator.
Alien versus Predator, yeah. And there's been Civil War, Iron Man versus Cap.
Yeah.
But Godzilla versus Kong might be the best of the showdowns of the major protagonists.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I would probably agree with that 100%.
So real quickly before we get further in, full spoilers for Godzilla vs. Kong. Don't want to know the outcome of this epic rematch. Definitely skip ahead.
There is an outcome.
There is.
It's not a lame draw.
So let's just get right into it. Sparks, Ben, what do you think of this one?
No, I want to go last this time. You guys go first.
I'll go first.
You guys.
Okay, cool. I much like the other Godzilla movies, I don't care about the humans, but the monster stuff is really good. In fact, I do think, upon reflection, I think this is probably my favorite of the monster fights in all of the movies. I think it is the the best shot. I think the monkey parkour is so good. It just feels like two dudes fighting. Like, it doesn't feel like two monsters. Like, it feels real, which is a weird thing. It feels
like two dudes, but also two monsters.
But also two monsters. Like it feels like a real fight that's happening. Like which is a weird thing to say about special effects. But like I believed everything about the fights. I found the humans to be, at least they weren't super dramatic like the last movie. I thought that to be kind of a dull roar. The length was great. 2 hours is just fine for this movie. Humans suck, monsters great. That's all these movies, right?
as I've said before,
no, that's the winner. It's the one.
As I've said before, all the MonsterVerse films are under 2 hours. Not by much.
So that's not true because I looked it up.
Which one isn't?
Both Godzilla movies are over 2 hours long.
Really?
King of the Monsters is 212. That movie is way too long.
212. Wow, yeah. It should be under 2 hours.
Yeah, the only one that's under 2 hours is this one. Kong Skull Island's a flat 2.
Okay, well, that's the same thing. Sparks, you already said what were your initial thoughts. Do you want to say more?
Oh, you mean because I said it's best?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say more. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It looks better than this movie has a right to.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm here for it. Yeah, we'll talk about human stuff for sure, but not disappointed about the fight. Definitely not. Not only some of the best fight stuff for monsters, but also, hands down, I think we'll all agree, the best night kaiju fight I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could clearly see everything, and it was so colorful. Yes, it helped to have, like, neon buildings and stuff, but, like, that was a choice, and it worked. It worked really well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, as I've said, I really love Kong Skull Island and Godzilla 2014. I think those movies are excellent. I still don't know I still don't know like what exactly my opinions are of King of the Monsters, but I can tell you this: I like this movie a hell of a lot more than that one. I thought this movie was a blast. And now, Ben, you wanted to go last, and I know why.
Yeah, I'm the outlier. I think I like King of the Monsters more than this one.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God, we called it! We called it!
How the hell did you guys call it?
We were all sitting there at the end of the movie, and we're all like, "Man, pretty good, right, guys? Yeah, really enjoying the high of that fight." And then I was like, "Ben's gonna hate it. I don't hate the movie. He's gonna come out of it much less than us."
It's
for
always
some reason,
and
it's always going to be like one particular thing
and
that
it's
he
not,
just can't get past.
It's not anything specific, Ben. It's just always like when us three are unanimous about something, you're the outlier for some weird reason. It doesn't make any sense. It just happens randomly.
The thing is, it's not the human stuff. I don't know what it is. It's just that as I was watching this movie, I just wasn't as interested in it. I mean, once the fights actually start, like when it's Kong versus Godzilla and the three-way fight between Kong, Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla, I was like, this is some good shit. I really like it. I really thought I thought those parts were good. And yes, it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. It's just, I don't know why, but parts of me was just like, I'm just like, meh.
I felt that
when Mechagodzilla pushes Godzilla's head in one building, then another building, then the third building.
Yeah, no, that was cool. That was cool. Like, okay, so like,
Ryan was about to say something.
I was like, Ben, I similarly feel that way about the human stuff. Like, I generally, like, one half of our protagonists, I actively don't care about them. Just straight up, they could be removed from the movie, and I think the movie would be completely fine without them. The monster stuff, on the other hand, it is so good. It supersedes any of that human stuff. Because, again, what's the movie called? It's not called Let's Talk About the Humans. It's Godzilla vs. Kong. And, this is way less human stuff than the last movie. And I think it has even better monster stuff than the last movie. So I'm just shocked that you find that this one's less than the last movie. I find it shocking.
Now, Godzilla movies often fall within a spectrum of things. There's either Godzilla 1954 or Godzilla Final Wars. I realize those are the first and last, but really that's a good spectrum, and then everything kind of falls in between, either trying to be more of Godzilla 1954 or trying to be more of Final Wars.
Yeah.
Now, Godzilla 2014, I love because it's trying to be more Godzilla 1954. Mm-hmm. Godzilla King of the Monsters, I have an issue with. I don't know exactly what it is because they're trying to be both. I don't know.
I know what it is for me. It's because King of the Monsters tries to be the big and bombastic stuff while also being super dour and dramatic while not having fun with it.
Yeah. And then, so like, I always prefer the more approach of the 1954. For whatever reason, that's just the Godzilla films I like the most. Mm-hmm. However, that does not mean I do not enjoy a good monster brawl. And boy, did this movie deliver on that good-ass monster brawl.
Yeah, I don't know if Final Wars is the other one I put at that spectrum, because I think Final Wars actually has, while being completely goofy, some of the best character stuff to get invested in.
It's my favorite. That's why it's my second favorite Godzilla movie, because I care about.
And there's
those
definitely
guys.
Other Godzilla movies that are hokier, that are like the human character stuff is like, yeah, okay. So I don't know if Final Wars is necessary, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, that movie has everything in the kitchen sink in terms of a Godzilla movie.
So this movie made a choice to be about the fight, which I would say is overall the right choice. It certainly is like what should be top priority. The fight needs to be good.
Yeah.
The monsters need to be cool. The fight needs to be good. It needs to look good. Everybody needs to be hype about that battle. That worked. That happened. They made that top priority. Great. Everything else became an afterthought. And we know that there's a lot of stuff that's cut out, a lot of human stuff that's cut out. And yeah, he says this is his preferred way because he decided that stuff wasn't worthwhile. Totally, I can agree. I certainly don't want to be sit there and be bored.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That being said, I'm sure I would be more interested in the humans if I had that extra material, like the fact that the dude controlling Mechagodzilla is Serizawa's son being explored would have been a cool thing to do.
That is I can't
it's
believe.
In my notes.
I can't believe they just throw that away.
I watched it real quickly, Ben. Sorry, real quickly, Ben. So I watched that movie again earlier today. So I've seen it twice now in 2 days. And I had the subtitles on because I wasn't quite sure if I heard it the first time I watched it.
We all did that because we were all sitting here together and watching it, and we all heard Serizawa, but none of us really wanted to question it. All of us went, okay,
so
I'm gonna let that slide.
So I saw this. The thing is, Ren Serizawa. I'm like, huh. Sorry, Ben.
No, because I heard him say.
This is the thing.
It's one of the things. I heard him say Serizawa, and I was like, don't tell me that's Ken Watanabe's son. His character's son. I'm like, please don't tell me that is it. So just please don't.
Well,
and then we get to the credits, and it says Serizawa. I was like, it has to be him.
The thing
it has to be him. And I just think it's like, you could have had this great little plot line of this one guy being like, I joined you because my dad spent his life, he died studying these monsters, and essentially he blames Godzilla for killing his dad. You could have had something, and yes, human stuff sucks. I hate the human stuff in this movie, but you could have had this child who knows his dad followed and studied Godzilla his entire freaking life. And it's like, let's build this machine to murder him. And then it's just thrown away, and he dies so unceremoniously.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
No.
I'm only going to make this comparison. I do not mean in terms of quality, but I mean in terms of filmmaking. The fact that the director told us that there's 3 hours of footage that he filmed that are not in the movie, you can see that there's plot lines and there's character stuff that have just been removed from the movie that make it worse. There's an entire plot thread about, I don't know anyone's names of the characters in this movie. Alexander Skarsgård's character, that doctor. He has a brother that is a plot point of, look at my missing brother, the Hall of Worth, all that shit. None of that's in the movie. There's so much clearly cut stuff from this movie. And again, it's the tricky line of I don't care about the human stuff, but I needed more of it to make me care about them. It's the weird line with these movies.
So I've talked. Monsterverse has an issue in their few movies of having of making believable human characters. Max Borenstein writes this one, and he has now written 3 because he wrote Kong Skull Island and Godzilla. So I would imagine there's a lot more character work there that he did that was just cut out because that's what you do in editing.
It's crazy to me that the same guy like did the character stuff for Kong Skull Island, because I think all those again, but it's also like a different setting. It's like at the 70s. It's a different director. Like I think that was just like
you're having to juggle less.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yeah.
Well,
Cast.
Here's the challenge that I think this movie had. You can't be under 2 hours, have a satisfying battle between Godzilla versus Kong, and have human characters
with
pitching for both teams.
Yeah.
You can only have them pitching for one. We have both. Now, one of them is, I would argue, better than the other, which is Kong's. Specifically, there's one human story in this that I absolutely love. It's the deaf girl.
Gia.
Very obviously.
She was so
there
good.
There is no problem whatsoever. In fact, I'll even extend it to Maya Hansen. I know that's not her name, but Maya from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Her too. Those two, not a problem in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm invested in them. I get why they're there. They function for me. I care about what's happening to them.
Yep.
That's good. They're solid. It's Skarsgård, such a good actor, wasted.
The bad guy's daughter who shows up to babysit.
The bad guys, wasted, and Millie Bobby Brown, and the kid from Deadpool, and Brian Tyree Henry, wasted.
I know cut out a character. You cut out that kid from Deadpool.
Josh and Kyle Chandler.
Oh, and Kyle Chandler.
All the Monarch.
I forgot he was in the movie again.
Again, like they cut up so much Monarch. Like Lance Reddick shows up for 5 seconds. That dude's an A-list actor, and he's cut from the entire movie.
So here's the thing. What I really needed to be invested in about the human stuff, I didn't need them to go discover Mechagodzilla the way that they did. I could have just been following the bad guys. That should have been where I was learning about Serizawa's son.
Yep.
Instead, what Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler really should have been connected to, what I wish was in this movie, was more lore exploration.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that they were telling me more things, because I'm just meant to interpret about what they're learning about the Hollow Earth and the history of their species as they go, and that be connected to Monarch, because Monarch needs to be involved, because Monarch's always been involved, and this is the least Monarch has ever been involved.
Yeah.
Kyle Chandler's whole arc in King of the Monsters doesn't really matter in this movie, because he's like hard on, okay, Godzilla is killing us now, and Millie Bobby Brown is like, no, he's not. His arc from the last movie should have been like, you're right, Serizawa would have believed that.
Yeah,
that Godzilla wouldn't turn on us.
I agree. Just the handling of Monarch in general is poor. The fact that they're just so hands off doesn't make a ton of sense. Also, Alexander Skarsgård's wearing a Monarch uniform when they go to the Hollow Earth, and I'm so confused about who's working for who, where, when.
Yeah, Rebecca Hall's with Monarch.
Yeah.
And like I forgot about that the first time I watched it, but the second time I was like, "Oh right, she works for Monarch. This is a Monarch operation."
But they act like there's no communication between them and Kyle Chandler, which makes no sense.
What were we gonna say, man?
That was one of my problems with this movie, because there's a line in the trailers like there was a war on their last two standing. I was of like a flashback, or even in King of the Monsters, they bust out all these historical texts, cave paintings, all this cool stuff. Is like, yes, these monsters have shown before. This is what these ancient civilizations.
Kingdom for that prologue.
Yeah, it's like here's what happened. Like just something, as in, because all we get, like the only thing. So at the end of King of the Monsters, we get like the little tease. It's like there's paintings that Kong and Godzilla are going to fight. We knew this movie was coming, and I was like, cool. Why? I want to know. It's really cool, and one of the things what's really cool shot is like Kong's throne in Hollow Earth when he puts the axe down, and you get that outline of Godzilla. I'm like, that looks cool. Why is that there?
It's his recharge station. I think like, and I guess again, there's so much stuff again like that could have been in this movie that explains all that stuff. What they gave us to me is like they're ancient rivals, and like this is the charge station for his weapon that goes to fight his enemies.
Well, what's weird about that thing is, and look, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the human stuff because it is the weakest stuff, and that's kind of where we get most of our content. Yeah. But the weird thing is there's a power source in the Hollow Earth that like sustains it that Apex wants. And when they get there, it's conveniently the same place that Kong lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was weird to me, where it was just like, it wasn't like a glowing sun like you're seeing in like Dinotopia.
It would make more sense if it was like Godzilla's domain, because that's where all the energy and stuff.
So because it's all open to interpretation and there are no right answers.
Yeah.
I think that there's window for more of a symbiotic relationship of being the alphas between Kong and Godzilla, because there's almost a reverence. I'm putting the Kong species solidly in a predator area here, my friends. They're very tribal. Okay. They have their rituals, and they build things out of the radiation that Godzilla's species is based on. Godzilla is the purest king of the monsters because he comes from the purest energy source that keeps all of the Titans going in the hollowed earth. That is core to the Earth, and it's core to Godzilla. Mm-hmm. The Kong species, on some level, probably respects that to a degree. And that's why there's a carving of him. It's not necessarily that Godzilla is their prey, but more that there's a mutual understanding and respect. Not to say that they don't clash. They certainly clash.
Of the time. He takes the axe out of a Godzilla skull.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that they always literally are out to kill each other.
Right.
Yeah. They're just like they're both the top dogs on in the park.
Right.
One of the things I wanted to mention a little bit ago is that in King of the Monsters, I'll accept the human characters a lot of the times more than the monster characters in King of the Monsters, because like Kong Skull Island, I think King of the Monsters has a colorful cast of characters that are just kind of fun to follow. Kong Skull Island much better, but it's nice that it's not just a wooden Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's a bunch of people that are just colorful and fun, and you just enjoy watching them. There's nothing of that in this movie, but it kept a similar amount of cast. It's just I don't care about anyone's personalities there, except maybe Brian Tyree Henry, who gets a couple laughs.
Much like the Hollow Earth, I think this movie's kind of hollow, to be honest. Like it is again, like bringing up like the Snyder Cut, like that Justice League is a truncated version of what that movie is, and this feels like the most streamlined version of how do we get to the two guys fighting each other.
Yeah, because
you have to have the humans,
because there wouldn't have been more monster stuff. You see all the monster stuff.
Yeah,
it just would have been more human talky stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying we needed all of it, but I think we needed more of it.
There was apparently, like, because I looked up like a lot more Hollow Earth stuff, like where they spend a lot of time like just hanging out in the Hollow Earth, and maybe you saw more monsters there. But again, it's not really adding to the movie.
No. Well, and I think again, like just directed in the right areas. Like we should have had stuff exploring Serizawa's son. We should have had stuff exploring the lore of the Hollow Earth. We didn't need the team to go to where Mechagodzilla was.
Yeah. So one of the big things about this movie, because like we're all fairly positive on it, but like a lot of people seem to be like, the question is, are we looking too much for an MCUification of this? Are we looking for, even though it's a monsterverse and they've set up a cinematic universe, are we expected to have all these answers solved? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can't it just be a Godzilla Kong? I say no, because it's a shared universe and they built to that stuff. I don't think you can just be shallow just to avoid stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's a good argument.
I think the other thing is, like, to put it bluntly, I don't think you can ask for putting out the budget that you're putting into these films and expect as many more people to see it than would see like the guys in suits lower budget Japanese Godzilla films.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can ask that of the audience and not be bringing more to the table.
100%. And like, again, like I think the Marvel movies have shown, like, you can have big blockbuster spectacles.
Kong Skull Island showed it.
Again, Kong Skull Island, like that is like the one outlier for some reason. Like it has the great characters and the cool monsters. Maybe
I'm happy to see the skull crawlers back in this.
Oh yeah. Apex has had a bunch of them. That was pretty cool because they were using them to test on Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Mechagodzilla looks really cool. Or it's weird that like they use like a bone thing to connect to it. Like again, it doesn't have to make sense. It's stupid. It's comic book shit. Like I'm not sure.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that like I buy all the bullshit logic, all the bullshit science, but for some reason I can't buy the energy thing where they take a scan of an energy and all of a sudden they can reproduce it.
No, that is bullshit to the extreme.
Like that was the too far for me.
No, that is like the laziest thing in this movie. I can't believe they could just bring it back with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Not only that, I thought that was like, hold up. If you just need to scan it, then you could recreate it. I thought they needed to harvest it. That's what they went to the Hollow Earth in the first place.
They had to go there and harvest it so that they could scan it. Once they scanned it, then they were duplicating it back up top.
Oh, man,
technology, baby.
That's how Mechagodzilla got it.
It's so crazy.
My whole thing is like before it's revealed that Serizawa-san was piloting Mechagodzilla in the skull of King Ghidorah. At first, I'm like, okay, cool. So it's like a mental unplay, kind of like a kaiju, or not kaiju thing, like Pacific Rim in a way, where it's like you're using your mind and you're piloting this robot. That's cool. And then it's like, but when it's revealed that it's the skull of King Ghidorah, and the guy who does the podcast, I forget his name.
Terry Henry.
Thank you. He's pretty much, and he's just like going at 100 miles an hour, explaining like, oh, they had to do it telepathically. I'm just sitting there going, okay, slow down. What?
My thing is, if you have the technology to build a Mechagodzilla, you can make a giant cool ass robot. Why do you have to make it so complicated with a neural uplink with a dead monster? Why not just build a giant robot to fight the monsters? And why not just do Jet Jaguar? And I'm saying it's Godzilla. But, I get it.
And also, okay, so I had an interpretation. And I was remembering back to like the original Terra Mechagodzilla, that movie, right?
That was the second movie, yeah.
So what was the first one? Where
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Okay.
So I'm trying to remember that one because that's where they say that the aliens took the bones of the original Godzilla and built over it.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
No, that's a Millennium one. That wasn't the original.
That was a Millennium one? Oh, okay.
So yes, you got it confused. Mechagodzilla was in the original Showa era was built by aliens, but not from the bones of the original Godzilla. The bones of the original Godzilla were used by G-Force and Godzilla against Mechagodzilla to build a Mechagodzilla.
I thought that's why Charles Dance was selling the skull. So they can do that to use it's weird that it's not even in the robot. It's like a side of the robot. It's
okay. So when the robot goes like crazy, I'm thinking it's like, is this like King Ghidorah possessing Mechagodzilla? Yes. That's how I read it. And I was like,
100%. Yeah, wow. I'm cool with that. That's stupid. I love it.
Again, I buy all the bullshit science except for that energy thing. That was the one. That's too far.
Yeah, the energy thing is really dumb.
I want to say that.
Just him doing this through the hollow earth. It's cute. Love it.
I want to say that I really like the sci-fi design of this. We talked about the Mechagodzilla design is really cool. The HERVs look awesome. I think I really like the design of those things.
Yeah, technology's taken some big leaps in this universe. But I'm here for it.
100%. Like we have to keep escalating if we want to do more crazy monster stuff because we can't just have it. I mean, I guess you could, but you have to escalate things. So like. To get further along, we have to have crazy gravity ships that are from like the Matrix and you're going through portals and shit. Like, it's wild. This movie hits a point and it gets cool.
I buy it because it's another 5 years after King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
So it's every Godzilla film has jumped 5 years, and that I buy that Monarch would keep getting more money to make cooler shit.
Yeah, and
a dome around Skull Island that has projectors to create an atmosphere.
So It was probably a blinking and miss it part in the opening credits, which I do like the opening credits of this movie, of like all the Godzilla movies where they're showing. Yeah, well, not just that, but they're showing like snippets of stuff that's happened in like classified documents or whatever. But
it hypes you up.
Yeah, it hypes you up. But so how come Skull Island is surrounded? I mean, I know Skull Island was surrounded by a storm, but how come the storm moved into Skull Island?
So they said in the line in the film, the storm got out of control and closed in on itself. So all of Skull Island got consumed by the storm that had been around it.
Okay.
And it killed
and it's a permanent storm, but that storm moved in and it killed all the Iwis, which is why the deaf girl's the only one left.
Right. Yeah.
There's no why of it. It was just a natural phenomenon.
Okay.
And it's already a weird natural phenomenon because it's a permanent storm that had like a barrier around Skull Island.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like Skull Island is. It kind of, I don't know. I just don't like how Skull Island is kind of just like swept on the rug. But I mean, yes, Kong is now on the Hollow Earth. That's cool. But at the same time, it's like Kong and Skull Island. They're hand in hand.
Well, I do kind of agree with that. I won't push back too much about that one because I do like Skull Island as a setting, and it has been such a Kong staple for so long. But again, it has been a Kong staple for so long, so maybe do something new.
Yeah,
Kong has been stuck in an endless cycle of going to New York and falling off a building for 45 years or longer. So doing something different is kind of cool. My thing is I'm a little bit more confused about what the Hollow Earth is because we see it in Kong Skull Island. Not really see it, but we hear that the skull crawlers are from the Hollow Earth, and we're led to believe in that movie that it's like just like Skull Island just has kind of like caverns and that's like the Hollow Earth. And then there's the Atlantica scene in King of the Monsters where Godzilla has this temple built to him. So that's not the Hollow Earth. There's another hollower Earth. It's like core.
It's like center of the planet. It's
Journey to the center of the Earth. It's like you take the caverns till the dome giant atmosphere in the middle, basically.
Or it's like that Ice Age movie where the dinosaurs are still alive.
I don't think the sea place. I don't think the sea place is tied to it. But lore reasons, I don't know why. But because that's in the ocean, I don't think that's tied to the Hollow Earth stuff.
Well, they say they have like a bunch of things where they're talking about like the ocean like engulfed that, like it flooded after the fact. There might have been like an air pocket or something that humans lived in.
Yeah.
So like they talk about a lot in the first 3 movies that the humans worshipped these titans. Ain't like they roamed the earth, and we read some of the comics about where the titans were here before us, absorbing radiation. So like there was a moment where the titans coexisted with humans, and then in this movie it's kind of like, well, they all evolved and came to fruition in the Hollow Earth and then branched out. And I think that's I going to Sparks' thing, I think that would be interesting if like Kyle Chandler's character Monarch was exploring that lore of where that all came from.
Just anybody, like, you know, like you want to make the humans interesting, at least have them giving us like the context of things that we're not able to glean without just like guessing.
Brandon, like before this movie came out, we were like, man, we hope we get like more lore about like all that shit, and we got literally nothing.
We see a lot of it.
We see a lot of it, but it's also a lot of stuff that we saw from the trailers, and all the lines with the same lines from the trailers.
Yeah.
Like we don't get much more insight, unfortunately.
The moment where Kong signs home, I think, is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
That was a good scene.
That was a good scene. You know what? Okay. So after I was like done watching this movie, it's probably because of my own bias, because I am a huge Godzilla fan. He is my favorite. But I felt like there was a lot more. I know it's Godzilla versus Kong, so Kong has to be in the spotlight too. But I felt like there was a lot of stuff involving Kong, moreover than Godzilla. I do get Godzilla got 2 movies compared to Kong's 1.
Well, there you go.
But at the same time, it's like I could have used a little bit more stuff with Godzilla.
This does operate more as a sequel to Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, Ben, I won't disagree with that. This is very much a Kong movie with Godzilla as the antagonist to it. He's framed that way.
Don't worry about it, Brandon.
Anyway, so it's very much that, but I think that the advantage of it is 2 things. One, Godzilla wins. So there's that.
Yep.
So you're kind of having to play to both audiences, because people love Kong and people love Godzilla. And if they knew they were going to make Godzilla win, you got to give them something for Kong on the other end of it. The other part of it is that it kind of makes sense, because he clearly wanted to play up personality and emotion. And it's a lot easier to do with Kong than it is with Godzilla.
Yeah.
Not that this movie doesn't try, but it definitely comes across easier with Kong.
Godzilla's a big old bully in this one. I love it.
I really like seeing Godzilla go like rampaging like this.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
Okay, so at first I was very confused as to why Godzilla was attacking. Like
you're supposed to be. That's the point of the movie.
Yeah, but then it's like thinking about it as like, because I'm thinking, okay, the Orca's destroyed. It's not that anymore. Ghidorah's dead, but then it was like, oh, Ghidorah's skull. So like he was drawn to them experimenting with King Ghidorah's skull and making Mechagodzilla. That's what he's like, oh shit, he's still alive.
So
that's how I see it. I don't know.
There's a little bit of a problem that I have in the context of the MonsterVerse. Like I just kind of hands up whatever, because the monster shit was good.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what this movie comes to. I don't love that that's what happens sometimes with these films, but it is what happens with this one. But in the context of the MonsterVerse, I don't love Godzilla's characterization in this one. There's always been a little bit of like a benevolence to him in terms of how he handles himself in relation to humans. And that kind of goes out the window in this film. And I can accept it in the scenes where he's flashing blue with his crazy blue eyes and he's destroying cities, because the logic seems to be that the pulsing from the eyeball that would become Mechagodzilla's eyeball was calling him and causing him to do that. And I can accept that. The thing is that when he fights Kong, he's not doing that. And yet there's still this, like, specifically I'm thinking of this part where he's approaching Kong when they're at the battleships, and he takes out 2 battleships, whereas before Godzilla was very polite and dove under. Minimal damage to the humans. And you could say that he considered them as Kong's allies and that kind of thing. It's just there's a little bit less of the kind of, like, the image I've had of Godzilla from the previous 2 films is kind of the gruff old man who's like, look, I'm just trying to keep shit clean. Damn it. And he's just trying to keep... This is a much more, like, antagonistic, aggressive Godzilla. And that doesn't jive entirely with who he's been up to this point. But I kind of go, whatever. What I did have a problem with, really specifically in that, is that it was never made clear if they were purposefully calling Godzilla to them. In the beginning, it's not clear if they meant to have that pulse piss him off and have him destroy the city so that they would get people to go, hey, we need to go to the Hollowed Earth so that we can stop Godzilla, so we're going to support your mission to make Mechagodzilla with the power source with the blah, 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 blah. They never make it clear if they did that on purpose or not. And I have a big problem with that. I'm like, are they just accidentally doing this and thinking there's no connotation? Like, what the hell?
What was I going to say? I really enjoy the special effects in this film. We talked about it a lot. There's some cool shots that he does with Godzilla in the ocean. I'm speaking specifically the first time we see Godzilla with the dorsal plates flying, rising up out of the ocean, pulsing blue, and then zooming in on his face. I think that's a really cool scene. And I think Adam Wingard has a better eye for scale than Michael Dougherty did. Because I saw a lot of the same kind of film techniques that Michael Dougherty does with framing CGI monsters, but I never felt like I lost the scale of these monsters. I always felt how big and powerful they were.
100%. Some of the coolest shots I think I've ever seen in any Godzilla movie or any kaiju film even are in this film. The shot where we first see Godzilla, where it's coming around on his scales, his back scales, and it's the size scale of it is insane as it comes. I can't even imagine seeing it on a big screen. I really hope I get to sometime, because that's nuts. And you come down and then you come forward, and then his head, you see the eyes under the water, then his head comes up. Incredible. Some just like excellent shots of like people in fighter jets launching away from Kong.
Oh, that one shot,
falling away next to him. Just following through on the action between the two when they're fighting, like following Kong when the ship goes upside down. Just really awesome stuff you don't usually see in a kaiju film. Really inventive choices.
Yeah. And Ryan talked about it a bit, about how clear everything looks, especially the nighttime stuff. Like, look, King of the Monsters I'm going to call back to a lot. I apologize. But like, there's so many particle effects that becomes really excessive. In this film, they kind of overcorrect, but I don't mind. Like the ocean sequences are very clear. The nighttime sequences are very clear and almost unbelievably so. But that's what you can do in a movie. You don't need to make everything so realistic, especially in a movie called Godzilla vs. Kong.
Now, go ahead, Ben.
One thing I will give this movie credit for is the final fight with Mechagodzilla, Kong, and Godzilla. It's during the daytime, and it looks great. It looks fantastic.
The brawl between Godzilla and Kong lasted so long that it turned into daytime.
Dude, that's the last 40 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
From Kong climbing into Hong Kong to the end of the film is 40 minutes. Incredible.
Maybe the best moment of the movie, though, but it's not a fight. It's Godzilla.
It's Godzilla breathing. It's
thousands of miles to the middle of the earth. And then, what does he say?
Smells like bitch in here.
And Kong's like, excuse me. And
I really, that's such a cool scene with the two of them. And like Godzilla roars, like, get up here, mother. Like Kong's like, ah.
Yeah.
He's like, what'd you say about my mama?
Yeah, man. Like again, like the heaves. Is that what they're called? The heaves? The ships?
Yeah.
Those are really cool. And them flying around they have like the zooms behind them.
The shot,
all special effects are great.
The shot when they come out of the Hollow Earth and like like flying around like the atomic breath, and so cool.
Mechagodzilla. I don't remember if this is from the other movies, but like Mechagodzilla has like a cool different type of laser breath where it's like two different energy beams. They're like in one. That looks really cool. Mechagodzilla looks really great. Again, like I think like it looks like you were rewatching some parts of it earlier. Jesus Christ, this movie looks good. Like Kong looks so good. Like obviously money makes special effects go around, but like,
Yo,
it's just the lighting of it.
Let's talk about that one that got you and me both the
Oh,
same.
like this weird vulture monster.
Okay, so there's this weird vulture bat thing on the ceiling of the chamber where Kong's throne is.
Yeah.
And there's a part where it comes down in front of the ship before Alexander Skarsgård and the others are going to walk in, and that shit is CGI and looks so real. So 100% real, and I'm like, this is one of the tiny nobody gives a crap monsters, and they made it look this good.
Yeah,
this movie's incredible.
It looked like a practical effect. It was too good.
I really like the bats, the war bats. They're called war bats.
War bats.
Yeah. When it curls over Kong and then the wing goes over his face. I think that's so cool.
That's what they're called. I thought they were flying snakes.
No, they're war bats.
They're called war bats.
They look disgusting and creepy, and that was a really cool. Those were really cool.
One of the things that I really look out for is choreography, especially in big CGI spectacles, because you're choreographing in a very different way than a person. So I'm always on the lookout for good choreography in that case. I think Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island have really great choreography. Kong Skull Island, I think, is one of the best looking monster movies in general. Mm-hmm. I think King of the Monsters has pretty good choreography. It's fine. There's some things that I don't really. That's good spectacle. I think the choreography in this, their fight, all of them, every single time they clash, the choreography is excellent.
Yeah. Again, it's the cutting that I always notice in these fights. Like, they always do a cut before a big punch, but there's just like one scene where like Godzilla's like on his belly and Kong's punched him and he gets up and he pushes him in a building, and it's just, there's no cutting. You're just watching a scene. I'm like, this is like $100 million just like right here. This is insane. But I'm like, I don't know why movies are so scared to just do this. Like, this is like, honestly, like the benchmark for me now of like, how do you do a city fight with a bunch of monsters? This is how you do it, man. Like, I think it's like flawless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that there's a Adam Wingard took inspiration from more modern day monster movies, and I can tell. You can definitely tell. Pacific Rim and Kong Skull Island seem to be pretty heavily visual inspirations for him in this movie.
I think he also just decided to take inspiration from good fights and like, in general, good filmed fights, and go, how can I apply that to a monster movie in a way that I don't think other people have?
Yeah.
And again, like, there's some shots that are just so insanely inventive and different, and I'm like, you don't see this in monster movie fights.
Like Mechagodzilla, like, he has like jet boosters like on his hips, so that dude's like juking around King Kong, and I'm like, again, I could see everything. It's not filmed like shaky cam right in front of it. I can't wait till I can't wait to get vaccinated, because like I will absolutely pay a cheap matinee to see this.
Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Seeing the boosters on Mechagodzilla being nimble, and like when it's, especially when he's fighting Godzilla's just lunging, and like Ryan said, he's juking left and right, and he can still stay still, whereas Godzilla's crashing into buildings constantly.
The devastation in this movie is insane.
It is.
I really like the scene where it's the ocean sequence where Kong Skull Island, Kong and Godzilla were fighting, and there's a bit where he looks at where Godzilla's going. He's like, I thought Kong was thinking, I gotta save that boat, not, I gotta go over there to meet him, and then just destroys a destroyer on the way to the aircraft carrier.
I mean, like, I have a hard time believing that those carriers can hold those monsters, and also that the scale is right on them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
No, that's not one of the things I was worried about. I was just like,
Mechagodzilla's tail, as Mag brought up.
Yeah, that thing is like,
like it's a drill. Also, I do like how Godzilla breathes his atomic breath on the axe, so the axe can have a little more juice to like hack Mechagodzilla.
The Mechagodzilla bit that I really like is when they both clash beams, and Mechagodzilla does the anime thing where it's like to make it go stronger. And like, okay, sure, that's a thing.
All the fights, they really went for it, and like I really hashtag restore the Monsterverse, whatever the hashtag is, whatever. Like this is gonna be a real big bummer.
Continue the Monsterverse.
It's gonna be a really big bummer if this is the final nail in the coffin, because I think they the stuff that they want to get right, I think they really got right. And I think most people are responding well to it.
Right. I agree. I mean, like, it really shows like how much potential there still is for these guys. I'm so happy to the idea of like another Kong film where he's in the Hollowed Earth that's just centered on Kong, and another Godzilla film that's centered on him doing stuff up there, and then another big thing that's going to happen that's going to make Godzilla and Kong have to like strap on and do the lethal weapon together again. And like, I want it. I want it bad. I want it so much. I think there's a lot that you can still explore too with this now out of the way. Like, we can still get the lore stuff about Kong and Godzilla's species history, especially by them being there with Kong in the Hollowed Earth. There's stuff to learn about it. I do think that, like, the more I'm sitting on it and thinking about it, I think that there's an idea of, like, Godzilla having his species and all of them being some of the oldest of the Titans, and Kong's species being relatively new, but also evolution in a sense. And so, like, they're taking up a mantle of, like, they're alpha level, but they have a reverence for Godzilla's species, and like, you know, there's an amount of like, you can't undo what's at top of the food chain kind of crap. But they also have to find their way to exist.
Like, the final, after Mechagodzilla is dead, the final roar between Godzilla and King Kong and Kong, it's kind of like, I saw that as okay, you saved my ass. You can take the Hollow Earth. Up top's mine. Yeah, it's kind of like them like drawing the lines. Like, this is your that's your territory. This is my territory.
I mean, like, my interpretation is solidly that was Kong by choice this time, because the first time he didn't have a choice, but by choice this time saying you're the king of the monsters, because he drops the axe. He's like, you got it. That's you. Like, because Godzilla's going around there saying he wants to make that perfectly clear. Godzilla makes that perfectly clear. Because while Godzilla definitely like was on his ropes with Mechagodzilla, he beat Kong's butt twice. Godzilla definitely won. There's no question, and now the two can be like, cool, cool, great.
And there was that good callback to the. There's the callback to the to the Universal King Kong versus Godzilla, where he takes the axe handle and shoves it in Godzilla's mouth.
Yeah. There's references to that movie in two places. The helicopter sequence where they're carrying Kong is definitely a reference to the original movie, and the putting the axe in the mouth. I refuse to believe it's not.
Didn't Universal tweet? Yeah, you tweeted that, Brandon. You like retweeted that Universal put the GIF up.
Everything with Gia is so good.
She's a great little actress.
Her feeling Kong's heartbeat, and her on the boat feeling Godzilla coming.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. What a good pretense arrival.
I really like the man, that underwater stuff looks really good. Anyway, I really like the sequence where Kong is running away from the atomic breath, and you just like Godzilla's using it as a gun. Beam it to other places. I thought that was really cool.
Again, the monkey parkour, like he was like hopping around buildings looking good.
I think they did a really good job with Godzilla still having to show his charge for the atomic breath, and Kong knowing how to use that to his advantage, how much time he has.
That was so good. Yeah. He kept charging up and like, no, up.
Yeah. But also when he tries to do his signature move of ripping open a jaw, Godzilla's like, I'm a fire out of it. And he's like, oh shit.
Or even when he's like, or even when he hits Kong in the back, like, because I feel like in a lot of the older Godzilla movies, when Godzilla uses his atomic breath, a bunch of monsters just go, oh, ow, that hurts. Whereas this one is like, oh, shit. That's the thing. Like that. Yeah. Like, I mean, of course, in 2014 Godzilla, he breathes it directly inside a Muto and kills the Muto.
There's a fun reference to that where Mechagodzilla almost does the same thing.
He almost gets reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That was something. It's so good. It's like the best kaiju wrestling I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
it's wonderful. The score's not great. Not the best. Certainly not Bray McCreary's King of the Monsters. That score is probably untoppable. Let's be honest.
It's
for Godzilla music, it's the best.
It gets done.
There were hints of the Godzilla. Dun dun dun.
Junkie XL definitely tries to evoke the idea of it without being able to do it because he can't use the theme.
Yeah, it was okay. After I was done watching the movie, I looked at fans. I was like, you know what, this movie's all right, but there's no main Godzilla theme. King of the Monsters gave me the Godzilla theme, and I really like that Godzilla theme.
I mean, look, Godzilla King of the Monsters is incredible, and so when you come off of something like that, I normally wouldn't bring up the score. I normally try to bring up the score when it's noticeable, when it's good. Otherwise, I just leave it out of my review, my talking points. But King of the Monsters score is so damn good that coming to this one after that, you're just kind of like, you got to bring it up because like it's not that score.
I appreciate Junkie XL's attempt. Godzilla definitely has a a theme when he's appearing or when they're foreshadowing his approach. Junkie XL did make something. He's trying to make something that's similar to Godzilla's theme, but it's of course not measuring up. And that's okay. It serves the film well enough.
Yeah,
it does. But I was really, what will put this movie like even higher for me when I was watching it is when Godzilla shows up in Florida and you hear dun 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 dun. I get it was probably another rights issue. I don't know if Toho agreed to let Bear McCreary use the original Godzilla theme for King of the Monsters.
He had to pitch it. He had to pitch to Toho to try to license the theme.
The thing is that like he got the permission, not the studio got the permission.
Okay.
He fought for it, yeah.
All right, that's probably where, because if I felt that if they actually were able to use the Godzilla theme in this movie, it would. I know it's silly to say, but even after watching the original 1954 classic, that theme is gorgeous.
No, I don't think it's silly to say because again, we got an awesome Godzilla score, and then we're going to the Avengers of Godzilla movies, and we don't hear his theme song. It's a weird thing that I hate Hollywood for rights.
I was after watching 1950. I watched 1954 Godzilla one night, and then the next night I watched 2014 Godzilla. And as I do really like 2014 Godzilla, but as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, man, just hearing the dun 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 dun, it's just hearing the beats when he's arriving in Hawaii will just yes, the silence and the suspense is there, but just some crescendo of the Godzilla theme, and then his roar would have been perfect.
There's no silence. It is scored, that sequence.
Oh, okay, not silence, but it's that low tone kind of score. It's
it's pretty bombastic. It's Godzilla's theme, the boom boom boom. The whatever that theme is trying to be
used in that movie.
I think in the part where Godzilla's walking over the building, that's when the silence is.
Yeah,
when it first shows him in the frame and he's moving, you only see part of him, but he's moving in front of all the people. Yeah. They make it silent because it's the step silence. That's so
it's the scene I'm talking about is when he first makes landfall in Honolulu, and you see the flare guns fire, and then you just hear his low guttural.
Oh, you're talking about. I'm sorry, you're talking about Godzilla 2014. Yes, the score for Godzilla 2014 is also fine.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, because when you go from my thought process was 1954, that theme, holy shit. 2014, good, could have used the theme. King of Monsters, hell yeah, the theme's there. This is great. Godzilla vs. Kong, why is the theme not there?
Yeah, well,
I think there's another script of this movie, I believe, because I'm sure I was right in hearing that Michael Dougherty had written this movie, or at least written a draft of this movie.
That is definitely the case. Yeah, because he was the guy that wasn't directing the movie, but he was writing it to continue. Yeah,
but the screenwriters on this movie are Michael Borenstein and someone else, not Michael Dougherty.
That's a story for another time, I bet.
So I wonder if there was supposed to be because the end credits for Godzilla King of the Monsters teases Mothra could still be alive. All the monsters are going to Skull Island for some reason, and when we come up to this movie, none of that lead-in is in this movie at all.
Yeah, because now Skull Island is wasn't years ago at a Comic-Con didn't Gareth Edwards very subtly hint at Monster Island? Before he was off the project?
No.
I don't remember.
I could have swore that Brandon told me something at a Comic-Con he was at. I could be wrong. But
look, the moment Kong Skull Island came into the picture, everybody assumed it would be Monster Island at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
because it kind of is.
Well, it's taking
There's
over.
There's monsters on it.
Well,
True.
Yeah, there's monsters on it. True.
Doesn't matter. It's gone now.
Yep. But human stuff aside, outside of Gia, who's continues to be great. Everything with her was great.
Yeah.
Did you guys all the monster stuff so good?
My last question. Now, I wasn't expecting giant monsters all out attack or anything. Did you think we were gonna get any other kaiju in this movie? Because I kind of did.
I thought we did. What I was trying to say is that I expected Mothra in this movie.
Yeah, I expected something instead of just literally the two guys. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And then a couple of new species.
And Mechagodzilla too, but I was kind of hoping for something else. Maybe I don't know what I was hoping for.
I was just expecting a Mothra cameo or something.
Yeah, Because Brandon's right. They do tease Mothra as still being or Mothra's egg at a new site.
Larva.
Yeah.
I think the movie, while I also was on some level thinking we might see someone else.
It doesn't need it.
I don't think the movie needs it. I can totally buy the logic if you told me later, like none of the other the other Titans were around, but none of them wanted to get involved in that shit.
Yeah.
I'd be like, defo, I get it. I do hope like we get more MonsterVerse stuff. I hope we see Mothra again. I hope we see the King and the Queen doing their symbiotic crap and then teaming up with Kong to fight some other big force from space. Maybe Gigan, maybe Space Godzilla. Who
Why
knows?
not both?
Or since we
Why
got
not
the
Space Giganzilla?
or somewhere down the line, they use the oxygen destroyer. We can get Destroya. That'd be cool.
They've already used the oxygen destroyer.
No, but because Destroya became a monster because of the oxygen destroyer, so he can rise from the ashes of that. That'd be sweet.
I gotta tell you, I don't need to see that kaiju redone in the MonsterVerse.
I like Destroya.
I like the story too, but I think that part of the reason why it works is because of the poetry of it. Like the whole thing was that was the end of the Heisei era, and for all intents and purposes at the time, the end of Godzilla. True. And so it was about the thing that killed him originally, killing him for this. And that's not what the story they would do, so I don't need it.
Right. Space Godzilla.
Yeah, that's all I've got. I think.
And do you feel any better about it?
You gotta put me a little bit better.
And my thing is that you're hot on everything related to the monsters, so I'm not sure why. I agree with Ryan. I'm not sure why you're coming in on it colder than King of the Monsters.
You probably persuaded me a little to like it to be hot on it a little bit more. I think one of the reasons could be because I've only seen this movie once and I may need to watch it again.
It's not because I watched it once. You don't need to see everything twice. You can watch things once and enjoy it.
I watched it twice because I wanted to, because I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch it twice.
The hearing you guys talk about the size scale is like, I really do want to see this movie on the big
next
screen.
time, don't watch it on your iPhone. How about that?
I didn't watch it on my iPhone. I watched it on that TV back there. It's not the big one.
Joking, obviously.
As Martin Scorsese wants it, watch everything on your iPhone.
My Apple Watch.
Yeah, I watched it on my Apple Watch. On my Tamagotchi.
Can you imagine watching this movie on an Apple Watch? Holy crap.
Wow, the scale.
Yeah. All right, let's rate it. Ben, do you want to go last again?
No, make him go.
Okay, I'll make you go first. We're not going until you go.
All right, fine, I'll go. Originally, I was staying at a 7.5 for this movie, but I think now it is a solid 8. I mean, if you cut all the human shit out, every single human bit out, like, because I'm remembering.
Even Gia?
No, okay, minus her. She's like her and Rebecca Hall, best humans.
So is Gia piloting the frigate?
Hell yeah, Gia's piloting Mechagodzilla.
You know what? Yeah, continue.
Because just like why I gave Godzilla, King of the Monsters such a high praise last time is because I was there for the fights. I got the fights. This one I was here for the fights, and I got the fights. So, yeah, Godzilla versus. I could have used a little bit more stuff with Godzilla because I realized this is also a Kong sequel because Kong only got the 1, whereas Godzilla got the 2. And the fight was awesome. Every time they fought, I was like, yes. And every time Kong was fighting, even when he wasn't fighting Godzilla, I'm like, oh, this is cool. So yeah, it's an 8 for me.
Higher than I assumed. Ryan?
I also give it an 8. I think I definitely like it more than the last one. I have the same problems as like the last one, but there's just less of those problems.
Much more of the good.
And much more of the good, yeah. So solid 8.
Sparks?
Oh no, I insist.
This isn't a thing, Sparks.
It's a thing.
Why are you always last, Brandon?
Okay. You threw me off. Okay. I like King of the Monsters fine. I don't think the fights are as good as a lot of people think. Fine. This movie is a vast improvement where I felt King of the Monsters suffered in many places, except for, oddly enough, the characters. But that being said, I had a blast. There are multiple moments where I couldn't help but exhume a celebratory wee or something.
Yeah.
So because of how much I enjoyed watching it, and not a reflection of the quality of the movie itself, I would give it a 9.
Yeah, I'm in the same place. I give it a 9. Like the stuff I came here for, I got in spades. The Godzilla versus Kong title is well earned. I think it's top level stuff for Godzilla, top level stuff for Kong, top level stuff for kaiju films. As far as that, the monster stuff, of course, the human stuff is at a detriment. But it's no more egregious than other Godzilla films I've watched before, and certainly no more egregious than other things that have happened in the MonsterVerse. It's there, and like they, at least this film made the choice to say, don't worry about it, rather than trying to make me through like a process of pulling teeth have to be invested where they weren't going to put in the effort. They clearly made a decision like, look, we didn't do great. We didn't do great on some of our decisions for the human stuff. We're not going to make you go through it very hard. Don't think about it too much. Okay, great, cool. At least you made that clear, and I'm here for the goods. And it delivers on that. Godzilla wins. He's king of the monsters, baby, and everybody can acknowledge it. I'm happy. It's a 9.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about it, like who do you think is going to win and who do we want to win before, and we both agreed that Godzilla should win because Kong won the first movie. All right, shall we get into our book club?
Book it up, Buttercup.
All right, Ben, take it away.
Yep. So the book club this week was Bloodborne, Volume 1, The Death of Sleep, written by Alice Cott and drawn by Piotr Kowalski. Gentlemen, what did you think of this book? How did you like it? Especially since 2 of us have played Bloodborne, and the other 2, as far as I know, have not played Bloodborne. What did you think? I want to hear your thoughts first before we dive in.
Sir?
I always talk first. You guys go.
Yeah, I'm talking to the guys who haven't played the game yet.
Well, see, interestingly, I'm more interested to know what you guys felt about this. Because that would kind of gauge what I was supposed to be feeling.
Okay, look, I thought the art was really good. I thought the story was all right, but it didn't really grab me.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're all in agreement. I thought it was because I didn't play the games.
No, this has nothing, like we said last week, like this has barely anything to really do with the game. Like it's in terms of like it's a guy playing the game, but like in terms of lore, you don't have to literally know anything because again, Bloodborne is it's about playing the game. It's not about the lore. Yeah. So like you don't need to know anything or play the game to get it.
So I not only that, it's not just playing the game, but it's also playing the DLC too, because the last place where the hunter and the child end up is the fishing hamlet, which is the end of the DLC.
And I've never played that, so again, I don't think it matters.
And Ryan's never played that, and that's home to one of the bosses, which I actually thought the child was either Cause or going to be the orphan of Cause or something.
Ben, I did some internet sleuthing while people were reading the book as it was coming out, and a lot of people speculated that he was the orphan of Cause.
It was the orphan of Cause? Yeah. So, but as I was reading this, I was like, I still enjoyed it, but at the same time, I felt like I still don't know exactly what was going on, but that's the thing about Bloodborne. Bloodborne is very in your face. If you want to know exactly what's going on, you have to do the digging and the sleuthing in the game.
Well, I'll tell you, yes. But I will tell you what this is. This is a Groundhog Day scenario. The guy keeps waking up. Why am I in this nightmare? I think that's pretty easy to get. It's the pale blood stuff that is it is a MacGuffin. It's also a MacGuffin in the game. The game's never explained what pale blood is. Neither does this comic. It's very much
like they mentioned the church. They mentioned the Church of Healing and also like you see Sevka because you start off the game in Sevka's clinic. You can go back there and talk to her. Yeah. But you don't know exactly what happens to her. It's a lot of the stuff in Bloodborne is, and even in Dark and a lot of other FromSoft games, it's very open-ended if you don't know what to do exactly, because you can have storylines of NPCs just completely branch off and never talked about again, or you can have NPCs accidentally killed for no reason, or you have to kill NPCs. It's weird because as I was reading this, as someone who has played Bloodborne and apparently played the whole thing with the DLC, it's like, cool, I know that thing, but at the same time, it's like, even I don't know what the heck's going on. I played through the damn game.
You know, I recently watched, so I talked about Dota Dragon's Blood, which is a show based off a game I've never played. I just got, when I was reading it, and I'm glad you guys said I didn't need to play the game to understand this book, because while I was reading, I definitely felt like I was missing something.
Yeah.
And to know it was just the story that was
Mm-hmm.
just not being told well is nice. I'm glad.
I mean, it's just like it's a very for it's weird that they wanted to turn Bloodborne into a comic, first of all, because they turned Dark Souls into a comic and it's awful. It is very much a traditional Dungeons and Dragons adventure with way too much dialogue. And the thing that I do appreciate about this book is that it's not very dialogue heavy, because there's not a lot of dialogue in Bloodborne. Again, that is a game focused on gameplay. So the aspects that I do like about the book is that it is trying to be a comic about what the game's about. It's about death and rebirth, and you're stuck in this nightmare, and how do you get out? I just don't think it's executed very well. I think the ideas are very cool. I think the snake monsters are very cool. All the enemies, like, you don't need to know who they are from the comics. It's like, those are the enemies of the world, right? Like, you know what scrolls are in Marvel. Those are the bad guys in Marvel. You know, it's that kind of thing.
When we got to the snake monsters, I felt really bad for Brandon because I knew he was going to hate that bit.
Bergenworth. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, dude. Those snakes in Bergenworth were bitches. That was... I mean, once I knew how to kill him, I was like, hell yeah, die. But at the same time, yeah, you have to stab him. But even one of the things I did like about the book was, so you guys saw those like big, giant Lovecraftian monsters with the big bulbous heads.
Yeah, amygdalas.
Right? Amygdalas or MD.
Amygdalas.
I mean, whatever they are. So you saw how the hunter wasn't able to see them, but the child was.
That's good.
That was one bit of the game that I really liked, because in the game, as you kill monsters and as you slay, as you beat bosses, you gain something called insight. Insight kind of helps you see the world for what it really is, and you can walk into the same area that you like. The very first area of the game, at the very beginning, not see everything's like, okay, cool, this is what it is. Halfway through, you can walk through the same area. There's a big ass monster on the building just staring at you.
Yeah, I think that works really well in the comic. Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, that wasn't there last time. How come it's there now? It's because you gain enough insight to see what the world really is.
I just didn't get why it was relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't have any context, so it's just like, it's a monster he can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's a monster you have to avoid. Yeah. You can't see it. Yeah.
But I didn't get the impression that he has to avoid it or anything, because he sleeps under it for a whole night.
Yeah.
And so in the context of the comic, I'm like, it's the thing he can't see. No big deal.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. I felt like, I mean, I was glad to see that this was like 4 issues, but at the same time, I felt like it could have gone a little bit longer. Maybe
it does.
Issues.
It does. It's unfortunately, I think this arc, it ends very early, but there's like 15 more issues of this comic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the whole run is like 16 issues, but they tell different stories of different hunters or something. I could be wrong.
No, you're probably right. I don't know.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I mean, I liked it, but at the same time, as I was reading, it's like, maybe you should. It's definitely, if you've played the game, you're definitely gonna get a lot more out of it. You know what? Trying to compare this to Centipede. Centipede was awesome because I don't know if it's just because the game is so much more simpler, but yes, Centipede, Max Beam has had so much more to play around with. Whereas Bloodborne, I feel, because Bloodborne's very stylistic, it's very gothic, very Victorian. It's like you have to stick to the style. Whereas Centipede, you can go balls to the walls crazy and be like, all you need is a centipede. That's it. You can make anything else happen. Whereas Bloodborne, you have to
I don't think that's it, Ben, because Bloodborne has some of the craziest Cthulhu monsters in video game history. So like, you can have crazy wild shit. I just think, and Alice Cott is a really, really talented guy. So it's like, I feel like this feels very he wrote it in like a day.
Yeah.
Like this dude, I know this dude's capable of so much more, and it feels like he wanted the tone of Bloodborne, but like he just wasn't given enough time to really tell a good enough story. Because I think all the artwork's great, and all the Bloodborne stuff is really good, but it's the narrative that we have to follow. It's uninteresting.
Yeah,
they don't do enough with the kid, and they don't explain the pale blood. Which again, they don't explain the pale blood in the game. But the problem is, this is a comic that the pale blood is important. We have to know why we're doing something.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I still enjoyed this book. I thought it was really cool. The art was gorgeous.
Yeah,
but still, it's like, what did the Healing Church do again? Why are the pale bloods such a thing? How come all the other hunters he sees look like the pale bloods?
This feels like a tone piece more than an actual like this feels like, hey, if you've played Bloodborne, read this comic and you'll get something out of it. I don't think there's really much anything else. Like, you don't have to read the comic, but like you're not going to get anything out of it.
It feels like a pitch more than a story.
Yeah.
I think for me, the thing that really just made it not work was that when we get to the narrative ending of the kid appearing as a monster to him, and he decides to take him, I'm like, the context of this is just lost on me. Like, I know, I understand the messaging of it for him in the decision to keep going, but I don't understand the context of why this is important.
Yeah, it's a thing of the Souls games being like mysterious in nature, and you have to find your own thing. But this isn't a video game where we have alternate exploration paths.
You don't have the ability to seek out that information.
We can't go left when you're just taking us right. So like, this is the only path we have. So like, yeah, I think this is just like, this was a misstep, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful. Great monster work.
It does. The art is gorgeous, but other than that, it's like I was kind of lost on it. Although I was interested in reading more, but it's definitely not one of the things where it's like, oh, I want to clamor to more. It's like, I mean, if it comes up, I'll probably go through it, but as of now, it's like, nah.
I'll buy it on sale.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we want to add, or should we move on?
Play the game.
All right, Ryan.
Hey guys. Go ahead, Ben.
No, one quick time. I didn't like how after the hunter dies in the very first book or the first issue, you do see you died.
Yeah, I did like the game aspects of it.
Yeah,
Ryan, it's your book club next week.
It sure is. Hey guys, my name's Ryan Oleopoulos, and I had a great Christmas. One of the reasons is because he bought me some comic books, and I haven't read this book yet, so we're gonna read it. It's called These Savage Shores, written by Ramvi and illustrated by Sumit Kumar, with colors by Vittorio Estone and lettered by Aditya Bidikar. Names are hard, Brandon. I get it now. These Savage Shores. This is a very acclaimed indie book that I have not read yet, and we're going to read it now.
Nice. All right, that'll do it then. Next week, we have no topic laid out, so let's start thinking of topics.
Maybe the topic we talked about earlier might be the topic. I don't know. I'm always down for that.
Or maybe Gamera. Who knows?
Or maybe that other one we brought up recently about cuts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Good night, everyone.
Bye, Mag. You're the best. Good night, Mag.
Good night, Mag. Okay. So we have a bunch of stuff on this channel, guys. This is not the only thing we do. I'm going to plug Conversation again. Conversation is my solo thing where I talk to podcasters and content creators about their shows and about fandom in general, just kind of going through some fandom stuff. And this past episode was Pat Ora of the Historia Canadiana podcast. Ooh. And next week we'll have Hardly Heroes.
Spoiler, I listened to the Historia Canadiana podcast. It's really good. Everyone should totally listen to that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was actually happy with how that conversation turned out.
It was really good.
Of course, we have other shows on YouTube. You can check out our Fake Nerds Watch series of Falcon and Winter Soldier, our Basement Arcade series, which we teased on this show, coming soon. Basement Arcade Pause Mini, which Ben just recently did an episode out there.
Mm-hmm. Episode
video game anniversaries, right?
Yep, video game anniversaries, and also Sizzle Reel. Something else is coming for Pause Menu.
Nice. And the Fake Nerd Book Club, where you can check out Little Char and the Gang and a bunch of other stuff. That's not the only things we have. We have tons of other things on this channel. Definitely make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel to get everything you want. Of course, we have our Crafted by Z masks. My girlfriend has an Etsy store where she makes face masks. Look, I get it. We look like we're coming out of a pandemic, but just wear those masks. And if by some miracle you don't have masks at this point, Fake Nerd Podcast masks.
Get ready for that fourth wave.
They're pretty cool. Can't have a fourth wave if we didn't have a first wave.
Oh, shit. Denial.
All right. Patreon, where we have our new shirt for the next 3 months. So it'll be April, May, June. So July 1st, new shirt. And this thing goes away forever. So you want to be...
Everyone, every week for the next 3 months is a Stephen King joke at Ben's expense.
That's true.
Boom, 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 boom.
So if you want to be just like Ben Magnet and be Stephen King's best friend and proudly show it to everyone,
hell yeah,
subscribe to our Patreon for $10. Or it's $5 or $20, whatever you guys want. You only get the shirt for the $10. We also have a TeePublic. I just talked about a shirt for a long time. You can't get this shirt on TeePublic. This shirt, TeePublic has other shirts. 8-Bit Fake Nerd Podcast one. Our logo shirts. There's even a Suburban Proctologist shirt. A lot of cool shirts, guys. We love shirts. I love shirts. But you can find all these links on our website at fakenerdpodcast.com, and all these links are down below in the description. Just check them out. We thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches the live show. Thank you to Mag, who constantly every week watches the live show all the way through. Crazy, man.
He's
love it. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our intro music. Sizzle for Conversation. I got a new intro from Jeremy Vellucci for Conversation. So stay tuned for that. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards, and you can find his podcast, Suburban Proctologist, on iTunes, facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official, or at SubProc Podcast. Of course, thank you to Mike Matola. Mike's great. He did the 3 logos for us, and the Patreon exclusive Stephen King shirt. Ooh. That's a Mike Matola original that he was kind enough to do. Oh, excuse me. Excuse you.
Thank you.
You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ben?
You can find me taking a much-needed nap at BenMaga27 on Instagram and Twitter. And also, as Brandon said earlier, I write for OldSchoolGamerMagazine.com. My latest article about console mods is in the description down below. So go ahead and check that out. And a new article is definitely coming this week because I'm like halfway through it, and I really need to finish that.
Sparks?
You can find me singing the praises of the one true king of the monsters, Godzilla, at SparksWitty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
And Ryan.
DJ Tony Snark everywhere.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcast, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Until next time I see us, stay fake nerds.
That's a fight.